You want to get a news update, change your spoon. Rastafari. Kilibamba, kilibamba, kilibamba. Kilibamba, kilibamba, kilibamba. What I want? Yes, but you got it. Yes, but you got it. Spoon entertainment. Let's say go to there. Go to there. Yes,
Yes, I special one from the CEO stand coming with the spoon. And your boy right in the south. On the beat. To get your information. To be spoon direction. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Liberia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Morovia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Africa. Just to spoon you and know. The trade preparing for starvation, just to spoon. You want to get a news update, my brother, to spoon. You want to know what is happening in Morocco, to spoon. Politicians want to make their decision, just to spoon. You want to know what happening in the ministry, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. You from Gemma, Maryland to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. Every ink my brother to spoon. You got a spoon TV, you got a spoon radio to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. You want to get a news update, change your spoon. Rastafari. Kilibamba, kilibamba, kilibamba. Kilibamba, kilibamba, kilibamba. What I want? Yes, but you got it. Yes, but you got it. Spoon entertainment. Let's say go to there. Go to there. Yes, Yes, I special one from the CEO stand coming with the spoon. And your boy right in the south. On the beat. To get your information. To be spoon direction. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Liberia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Morovia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Africa. Just to spoon you ain't know. If the children crying for starvation, just to spoon. You want to get a news update, my brother, to spoon. You want to know what is happening, Morovia, to spoon. Politicians want to make their decision, just to spoon. You want to know what happening in the ministry, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. You from Funjama, Maryland, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. If you eat it, my brother, to spoon. You got a spoon TV, you got a spoon radio, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. You want to get a news update, to spoon. Yeah. Rastafari. Klibaba, klibaba, klibaba. Klibaba, klibaba, klibaba. What I want? It's not TV. It's not you got it. TV. Okay. Well, folks, we like to say welcome. Thanks for joining us. We're back with another edition of the program. This is Spoon Talk. We're live across the Spoon Network, Spoon FM 107.5. We're live on Fabric Radio 101.1 and several other frequencies across the country. Spoon Talk is where you get the news, the updates, the information. You get to know what's happening in Liberia, what's happening across the ministries, the agencies, what the policymakers are doing. Of course, we bring you the updates and the analysis here every single day. So welcome. My name is Nelson Colette. Thanks to all of our partner radio stations across Liberia that are relaying the program. Thanks to Trust FM Bomi County, Premier FM Bong, Trend Radio in Grand Crew, Radio Yalamani, Seklipi, Niba County, and all the other radio stations across the country for relaying the program. We also want to say thanks to the many of you joining us online on our social media handles on Spoon TV, Fabric TV, and Super TV on Facebook, and on Spoon Talk Live on YouTube. We want to appreciate all of you for joining us tonight. So as we always do, the first segment of the program is going to be dedicated to you. Call in to say what that issue is that is of concern to you, what is it you want to talk about, education, health, the political issues, economic situation, is it about your environment, is it about sanitation, just whatever that issue is you want to talk about. You're going to have the time tonight to do just that on the first segment of the program. So thank you for joining us tonight, and I'm going to activate the lines so we start to interact tonight. So you can keep your calls coming now to 0555 101075, and I'm going to put the WhatsApp up. You can call using the WhatsApp number as well, and you can make your inputs tonight on the program Spoon Talk. So let's go to the phone lines. Talk to our first caller here. Hello.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir. Your name? Where are you calling from?
Thank you. My name is Sukufu, calling from Nessie, Baji Baji.
Yeah, what's on your mind?
Honestly, let me say this to my government. You know, let me say this to Sano Chauncey, the former senator from Bomi County.
Mm-hmm.
As some supporter of United Party, say I was born, say I been for the 2005 United Party, but I will say I even will sharehold, I get membership in United Party. Although I'm not working in the government, but let me say this. It's very unfortunate on Sano Johnson Park. You may 9 year or 18 years, whatsoever year you may have senator. You know, the honor 2 years to maintain there. No be party on it is so uncalled president man or man. Where as soon you thought that they gave you where? What is this?
Thank you. Thank you very
That
much.
the kind of people you can put in government. The people that I want to manage as in 18 years, you know want to manage yourself.
Let's go you there and take another person. Hello, your name and where you call from?
Good evening to Spoon family and good evening to my peace-loving people of the Republic of Liberia and good evening to you, dear Beronexi, in studio in Liberia. By the way, the introduction, I'm Efanso A.S. Kamal. I do join this conversation this Tuesday evening for my peaceful residents to be pursued transformer community within District Number 10, relatively old road. Thank you very much for the platform.
Your introduction too long, my man.
Plenty people trying to call. So just call your name, where you calling from, and go to the phone line, sir. One have to deal with appreciation, and the second one have to deal with appreciation. I would like to appreciate the newly appointed NDC for a level of hard work, and today, Liberian, we are enjoying civilization of our electricity. So I commend him for that hard work. Yes, so individual men continue to provide services for Liberian people.
Let's go you there and take another person. Hello, your name and where you call from quickly. Yeah, please go ahead. Let's hear you, sir.
Jerry, calling from Tuporo.
Jerry, quickly, your name and where you calling from. You call okay, you say you call from Tuporo. What's on your mind?
Yeah. Oh, what on Jerry mind this evening is that we forgetting, we just looking at one individual just to remove one person from power from speakership. It's taking fastest move. But we forgetting that foreigners are in our villages in the interior area, out in Liberia. Where our lawmakers just here they sitting down to our LJ can just remove one person. We forgetting that people passing there in Liberia, taking the resources they not get time about it. So it's very touching my heart.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you very much for your input, sir. Let's hold you there and go back to the phone line. Take this person. Hello, your name and where you joining us from? Hello, let's hear you. Your name and where you calling from?
Hello, Nancy.
Yeah, hello. You are live on the show. Let's hear you. Hello. Okay. So we lost this person. Hello, your name and where you joining us from?
Yeah, hello.
Yeah, hello. Let's hear you.
I'm Harrison P. To the calling from the Moya Power District 13.
Harrison, go ahead. What's on your mind? Let's hear you.
Yep. My brother, since I was born, my first time to see Port Senegal, my friend year, the act is for teaching that bro. You know, the president called Joseph Nimon Boaka, thank you. I have to stop when I was left. The current president, I see things in my whole life. I never see things like that. I never see development at go like this. I love the president. I train ballet. Hello?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, my first time I want to I too happy. I only yesterday and today.
Thank you very much. Let's hear you there.
I want people to now, communicate. And I'm wrong. Because everyone will be probably.
Thank you. Hello. Your name and where you want to walk
Sorry.
radio.
Sorry. How are you doing?
Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Nothing, I guess, training issue on my mind.
Okay.
My next according from around a year junction. Yeah, we were part of the program on Sunday that we call and answer some questions. But since then, we are not received.
No, but Diamond is going to handle that. What I know is that he was able to get the stuff today, so he will handle that. All right.
So, okay, let me get a penny. You know, spoon talk that like when people show people who were here just in recent time that they knew nothing about rule of law issue. They violated everything, giving credence to honorable create every time, just lying to the public. This is a former lawmaker. Everything say when they fast checking, nothing about it that is true. Everything that come from other honorable create that fake statement. So every time they give ingredient on the show in overshadow the entire show, just talking, and CEO still continue to keep you on the show, it's becoming denial of the show. The senator of the show becoming very denial on the road, just lying to the public every time.
All right.
Every time statement after statement. So Mr. Spoon had to take seriously of that.
Thank you very much for your input. Hello, your name and where you call from?
Good evening, Nelson.
Yes, sir. Let's hear you.
So my issue is show at times the listeners want to also make their input. Not everything the panels on a platform will know, but there are people who are listening who have issues to contribute. So my recommendation is the CEO should also provide time to call us too. But I've observed that it's very hard for him to open the line. Another thing, when he opens the line, those in the diaspora can take most of the time than those who are on the soil.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so let me just make a first and second recommendation to you. I think we who are quoting and expressing what is on our mind should also watch our nation the way we approach people on a platform. You cannot come on the show and openly say this person can lie. I think it's not correct.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your input. Hello, your name and where you call from? So keep your calls coming to 0555-101075. Hello, you are live. Let's hear you.
Thank you. My name is Hussein. I'm Hussein Kew.
Okay.
I come from Jacobstown in District 2.
Hussein, go ahead.
Yes, thank you for this segment of the show. What is on your mind? I use this opportunity to thank the president and the government for the many development in different sectors. That is agriculture, road connectivities, and even the stability of the LDCs. But what worries me and baffles me a whole lot, Kenton will always say this is a Liberian people show. Yes, I agree that this show is a Liberian people show, but when sometimes when those panelists like Sam Jackson and the great who sit on the show sometimes mislead the public, and they don't care to even inform the public about some of those progress that have been made by the government. Send you in Liberia, you enjoying progress. If they say you are in South Africa or America, but you don't care. Great, after your 6 years of leadership, you can move food and after you are safe under the watch of this government. That is not your business. You can connect from one area to another. No, it's not your business. But I will say to them, you can continue your propaganda. Like the president would normally say, it is not about the next election, right? But the future generation. You will see the dividend. You will see the progress the government will make. So keep making a loud noise.
Thank you very much for your input. Hello, your name and where you joining us from? Let's hear you.
Yeah, good evening. This is Amos calling from stand up.
Yeah, Amos, what's on your mind?
There was on my mind tonight. People stand up. After the argument tonight, then you open the line, let people call. Let my call. When Gray and Samuel Jackson and Finney with that funny talking, then you open the line, let that.
Okay. Thank you. There seems to be an issue with your line. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sorry, I had to let you go. Sorry.
Hello. Hello.
Okay, so please make sure you're away from your radio before calling. You can have the radio on loud and you're calling on the radio at the same time.
Hello.
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 Yeah, hello. You're live.
Yeah, hello.
You are live on the show, sir. What's your name and where you calling from?
Yeah, my name is James Corey. I'm calling from Congo Town.
What's in your mind?
Yeah, my concern has to do with the development that is government is undertaking. There are a lot of development that is government undertaking, and people don't see it. All besides the $450 million that the government has secured for war, the Grand Cook County Road project that is going on currently from Tabata to Grand Chile, all the way going to Maryland, and the demolition that going on around the Congo Town belt, here at the Freeport belt, and then the country is stable, and there is no discrimination, there is no red, there is no terror. So there are a lot of development is going to take. But it is good that a CEO should criticize, but a criticism should be constructive, but not destructive. There are some good things the government do, say it.
Okay.
If there are some errors that people are, there are mistakes people making in government, exposing guys that are making the mistakes or that are stealing from government, we embrace it.
Okay.
But every time the CEO to him, Account Gray and Mr. This is why I can really enjoy Mohammed, because Mohammed preach logic. He preach logic. He make the show to look so good to the extent that people won't listen. But not noise. People don't listen in noise. So my advice to the CEO, and try to call somebody noise down. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for your input. Hello. Okay, so keep your calls coming to 0555. Hello. Hello, can you hear me? Okay, let's take this person. Hello. 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 Yes, you are live.
Hello?
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you. So now I want to ask you one question. What is the definition of stabilization? And you think if we enjoy stable like South Africa, since day to day, there is no LEC. Is it what you call stabilized? Thank you, man.
Same day today, no LEC. Where are you calling from?
ELWA.
So in the whole year there be no current today since
No current.
Okay. Thank you very much for your input. Hello. 0555-101075 is the number to call and you'll be live. Let's go back to the phone lines and talk to this person. Hello. No.
You brother.
Okay, go ahead.
You see, when I hear people criticizing Green on the video and other panels, it can be funny for me. Because, like for me, purposely, I listen to Spoon FM because of Green. Because of the former law, logic when he's speaking, he has logic, he has sense in it. So some of us, we don't listen to Tabata stories that people talking, but when that man is speaking, whatsoever I'm doing, I leave everything just to make sure and listen to that man. So when I hear people criticizing him, it just looks funny to me because one of the best panelists and one of the best decisions that Central ever do on Spoon FM is by bringing the former Gray on the radio station, on Spoon FM. So that's my question.
Thank you very much for your input. 0555-101075. Hello.
Hello?
You are live, sir. Your name and where you calling from?
Yes, this is Pascal David King here. I call you from Manchester Road resident.
What's in your mind?
People, I want to say to our Liberian people that we all put our hands around our president, His Excellency President Joseph Nimam Boakai, for us to give the old man a chance so that he can bring the country back to life. Because this country we've been suffering for a long time, and this is the time for we as a Liberians, for us to come together to see how best we can put things together so that we can embrace the old man. Because the old man is a good old man for our country, and this is the reason why we stay in the ring to vote this old man. So I'm asking the Liberian people, let us see the job that the woman is doing for our country. We basically the young change so the woman can bring the good.
Too bad. We lost it about 0555101075. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, we are live. Let's hear you.
My name is Angeline. I'm calling from St.
Angeline, what's on your mind?
What on my mind is I really want to talk to the President Joseph Boakai. I take you to truck that the Madingo people have to get planted in the country. They really killing people. Let him talk. Let's get time to run the truck in the neck. We are the citizens that want time for election. They will call us to go vote for president. So if people die, who will vote for the president? The truck. Let us show time for the truck to run the night. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Hello. Your name and where you call from?
Yeah. How are you?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Kasumu Kamara from Broadway, Power College Belt.
What's on your mind?
Yeah, what on my mind? I'm asking the government to monitor those people that are doing the LEC work. And I tell them thank first because already they are speeding up the job at Broadville from now. Let me be bold to everybody. So, but let the government monitor them. And those school issue, the principal will say, yeah, government said a free school. But all the time when the children go to school, they say no good school. Or sometimes good school can be there, but they say we should do this. We should give this. Let the government monitoring arm must be very strong. That those things I want for you people to talk about it. And the project are going on Raspo Road. We really appreciate that. But let the government monitor it and verify it. Look at the equipment. They know really strong. Let them hold on so that the job can carry or somebody else can take care of that job.
Thank you.
So only the monitoring aspect I'm thinking about. But thing is going on.
Thank you. Thanks a lot for your input. Hello. Okay.
Hello.
Sorry. We will have to take another person. This person here. Hello. You're live. Let's hear you.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. It's good to have you on. Let's hear you.
This is Thank you. Saying you don't want to send me the link. Thank you very much. Listen, I just want to say something very quick. I don't know why we, the Liberian people, want development in the country. It don't come very easily. When development is coming in the country, people can tie their stomach. Since 1847, two presidents that did well, including this current president. Number one, it was President William Richards Tubber. Number two, it was Samuel Kayando, the late, that did a little bit better and took off other buildings that was in like that will be rented throughout. And now President Boakai taking all the rules. I don't know the politicians, the opposition, they don't want development in our country. Every day they talk about war, chaos, because the woman is not stealing. They say the government is corrupt, but I don't see the corruption in this government. Although it might be there too. But you don't look at our development, you don't look at our rules. My people, thank you, President Barker.
Thank you.
God will save you and save you for the Liberian people until you can hand power over to the next coming president 2029.
Thank you very much for your input, sir. We appreciate you. Let's see if we take another person from here. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, you're live. Go ahead. Let's hear you.
Yes, Emmanuel Myers, I'm calling you for Ghana.
Yeah, go ahead. What's on your mind?
Yeah, I hear people saying that the president doing well, the president is doing well, the president doing well. But no one has shown me anywhere that the president broke ground by today implementing a project. Everything the president doing, I think what president we have that
Then go and continue one president we have started. Today, when president we are in power, they used to say that road will eat, that they one will do. But today, they still roll the president, they still president for. Yes, it is very sad to me that to see like Rockwood to the president, they call president for. Because the past president out there, our main thing to face the rule and face the country. But and when I tell how the president or nothing, the president was wicked, no job, something. But today we can't see nothing. We can't see nothing. The job they say they were bringing for the young people today, nothing we can see. The same way president we have in the country that how the country looking today. I thank you.
Thank you very much for your input. 0555-101075 is the number to call. Hello, you're live. Let's hear you. Your name and where you're joining us from. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, you are live. Let's hear you.
Yeah, my name is Mata Kane. I mean, I want to call you the quarter about the children being about the children in Kakata Magibi when you hospital.
Who children business?
The children they are 4 upon and 1 day quarter.
No, I don't know. I don't know what. I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe a different person were there. We went to the station for help. The person they not happy this so that we see what I found the show. Because I need help for you. I want for you to help me to send my in school. My children in my hand, they're not going to school. The children are born in 2021 in Kakata there. We will send out to the hospital, we're not to any hospital. I last time ready now born. Yeah, I bought the children and were there. People need to help about seeing after the hospital born. We're not in Kakata again, we move in Moravia for the children. But we'll go to the other place and sell to different places, say, I'll go over there. They get in my hand going up and out with them, Papa. They square 2 more on me, so I beg this school effort to help me.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot. Hoping that folks listening can be of help. I appreciate you. Hello.
Yeah. I'm looking at you calling.
Yeah, please go ahead, sir.
Yeah, one on my mind. Really, people saying you think better, think for you kind of way. When I was sitting around my area, now we are in January around the part-time period, somewhere around TV. You see, now we're talking about business. People find in the market, cancel people for some for all routine. Then they think better. So where are they living? So my other we should start doing what you need or my mama better.
Thank you.
So have a good night, man.
Thank you. Hello.
Yeah, hello.
You are live. Your name and where you call from?
My name is Bayan. I call Robert.
You say your name?
Sanuk Bayan.
Sanuk Bayan. Go ahead.
Sharon.
Okay.
How my mind is in how to do it out development in the country. Let me appreciate the president first for starting where the past government left.
Okay.
But I don't want for somebody to give glory to this government on it. We are all Liberians. Good kind of all enjoy. But people become difficult, all feel the weight. And those that can call and then go the past leader. Your people that in power one day will be power leader. Remember that.
Okay.
That's all.
Thank you very much for your input. Hello. Okay. This person. Hello. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, you're live. Go ahead.
Yes. What on my mind is this government will not mind those Rufus Bar anyway from Congo Stan. What on my mind is that this government should press power to do all of the good things they are doing. Because in Liberia, we always, when we're not in power, we don't praise anything. But when we in power, what is happening is the best. But when the openness and not forgetting to know that the person that is ruling is Liberia, who want to
can there, you two are Liberian. If we can there, thinking you do that what the person is doing, we don't care for the country. We only want bad more people. So that what on my mind. So let the government try, just do what he's doing.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, you have the radio on in the background. Can you lower the volume of the radio?
How you doing?
Can you lower the volume of the radio in the background, sir?
Hello?
Yes, sir. It's good to have you on.
How you doing?
Yes, I'm okay. It's good to have you on. What's your name and where you calling from?
It is Spoon FM?
Yes, you are live on Spoon. What's your name and where you calling from?
My name is Junior Kocha. I call from Bonaswan FB.
Okay.
Yeah, what is in my mind, on my mind, that actually I'm really appealing to Mr. Waterspoon to appeal to the government so they can be able to forget I call the boys on the street. As anybody that when they say they have a fire service coming, you see boys running away, just want to say war coming. We are appealing to the government. Right now, as I'm talking to you in the Lapo Material, as no school fee. And that the only thing that we know we're really doing on the hardcore in the Moravia town for for our children the school and find living for us. But yeah, all that Lapo Material, we finish on the street. The government tell if they want for all the be testing, that is just also everybody can be free and do their little bit of business that we were doing before. But what the government is doing actually is very, very wrong.
So you think the government is wrong? You think the government is wrong for removing the gas sellers from the streets? You think so?
At least let it be order restrict all the way we're supposed to sell the gas on the street and where we're supposed to sell the gas on the street. Let it be able to tell us. If that
Thank you.
To be paid, we can be paid, to pay our tax. But right now, the street, everybody getting here right now to pay gas. We are appealing to the government.
Thank you.
We are appealing to the government to really see about it.
Thank you very much for your input. Tonight on the program, this person, hello, your name and where you joining us from?
Good evening, sir.
Yes, sir. Good evening. It's good to have you on.
My name is Andrew, the Fast Federal Motorcycle Affairs, Republic of Liberia.
Go ahead.
I want to tell all those that attended the youth and sport in collaboration with Merge Fund 2 for the fundraising program for the vocational school support. I want to appreciate the Honorable Richard Kuhn. I want to appreciate Honorable Charles Natter and all others that went, including our President General Jeff Kennedy and all those who joined the vocation, transport ministry, all the work they did. I want to appreciate them for the motorcyclists that sooner or later they will start a vocational. And the thing I want to say is that President Joseph Boga, if he will support 2 or 3 counties, if you will face the rule, I appreciate him. I came from Bapolu.
Thank you.
I saw what happened. I passed Kubono Shop area, the old road, Maka. I saw the job the people doing there.
Okay.
The greater in the road, and the road is just very, very perfect.
Thank you very much for your input. Let's see if we can bring another person. So we have just a few more minutes to go. So we take the last maybe 3-4 calls and then we'll wrap up. You have your radio on in the background. Hello. Please make sure when you call in, your radio is off. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, you are live. Your name and where you call from?
Yeah, my name is Ernest Mbova. Speaking from New Metal.
What's on your mind? Let's hear you.
No, on my mind. I even wanted. I tried last night to call.
Okay.
But no way. I'm always with Spoon. That's something that Spencer went and start. And made me confused that he cannot control it. He started giving rest to people here. Later he started giving money. You can't ever a human being. That thing that he is doing, maybe you think that it is good, of course. But you can even give me $1 million. The next day I want money.
Okay.
We are able to feed ourselves. If you continue doing that, that's why your new responsibility.
Thank you.
Please, let's control it.
Thank you very much.
Since Spoon started, I will withdraw until even we have the election for my own party.
Thank you.
So I want for him to get a problem with the Liberian people. We can ask for money or we can do nothing for ourselves. The blind man start doing something for themselves.
Thank you.
It's not good. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your input. It's good to have you on. I see the CEO as
well.
Yeah, man. CEO, welcome.
That's what you did to the guy.
No, the man said you should stop the rest distribution and giving prices and everything because it will not help. So that the amount of view that he called to express.
Oh, so he said we should stop it. Stop it.
Yeah, stop. We should stop it.
Oh, why? Well, what's the reason? Why you say we should stop it?
He said we can feed ourselves. He said Liberian people can feed themselves. So doing so will make people to always want more. So
even in America, Nelson, people are going to shelters and they are getting distributions. Yeah, in America, churches are giving away food and other items, for the poor people. I mean, yeah, in America, can you imagine that? I was just driving today, and there's a long line, everybody in the cars, and that's it. You can take video. But they were distributing, people go with big boxes of food. They give them perishable goods, different kind. They give them, Irish potatoes and everything, canned food. So if they can do it here in America, and the gentleman said we shouldn't do it, wow. So I don't know.
The men want for farms to be opened where people can
even
work.
Even if farm open, there will still be need. People will still want something. Nelson, the great God was sending manna from heaven, and people were complaining. I mean, I don't know where he's coming from. I think he's going back to the soil. I think he believes in agriculture, but yet still, Nelson, I don't know, but to each his own. If the Lord bless us, we should be blessing to others. So seriously, ladies and gentlemen, we have Nelson in the studio. It's 8:44 p.m. in Liberia. Once it reaches 9:30, Nelson will start sleeping, and
start a prophecy or prediction.
Man, I get allergies, man. Nelson will start sleeping, then when we call Nelson, where you at? Then we get no answer, right? So let everybody watch the time. Right now, I'm telling you, by 9:30, Nelson starts sleeping, 9:30. And then he will get up at 11 p.m. because he got to do the late night show. So I heard the whole story today. Florence colleague, how you doing, Florence? The voices of Lawalazu is in the house. Man, Jenny Una's son is here with us today. Where did Omar at? Omar, your son, yeah. Darling Donna is from New Jersey, right? Maybe 7 or 10 minutes away from me. Sister Darling, how you doing? Then we're gonna bring, who's there again? Sia Baton, Gaman Cassidy. That's when they get Gaman and they get Gaman, right?
Okay.
That's him from Bon County, man. Wait a minute. Okay.
No, I'm just hearing the Gamay. For me, I know Gamay.
Well, how you pronounce it? And the Garmar?
Yeah.
Okay, how you pronounce that? Gamay.
Maybe that a serious way of pronouncing it there. But that Gamay.
So you pronounce Garmah. How you pronounce it? Gamay. MAH, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. You from Bon County, you should know that better. We want to welcome our sister Charlene LIB McKnight. How you doing, sister Charlene? It's good to see you. Asa Root is in the house. David Booker, I can see in the back that Francine Chinua Richardson and Phoebe Herons. I can see both of them in the back. We'll bring them on shortly. Frank Sewe. Frank Sewe is here as well. Miata Walker Griffey. How you doing, Sister Miata? It's good to see you. Say Dagon. Say Dagon is here. Elijah Bay. Elijah, the prophet, is in the house. Pittman Wright. We say welcome to the show, guys. If you can only share. Let me put, Nelson will be Gua. We just started. Put these people comment. Bernice Mori Woji. Bernice, where you joining us from? She said watching. Bernice is watching. Let's see who's this. Tipos Pickett Dempster is in the house. CEO, don't allow Nelson to be sleeping on the job. I understand. What can I do? We just got to pray he shouldn't sleep. Let's bring in the person is watching from McKinney, Texas. That Jah Glory is from McKinney, Texas. Let's see Sister May Carter. May Carter is watching from New Jersey. Where it looks like I know this person though. Where in New Jersey you watching from, May? Your name is so familiar. Miata Walker. Let's see, Miata Walker is here. Hello, Brother Stanton. Hello, Sister Miata. How you doing today? Miata Walker Griffey. I like when you say Brother Stanton, then that's from the church. Good evening, CEO. I'm watching you from Grand Crew County, Bois District. Seon Washington is in the house. Let's see who's this. This is Denise Wisse Collins. Dennis? Yes, Dennis Wisse Collins, watching from Philadelphia, PA. Not too far from me, Dennis. It's good to see you. This person is watching from Red Light. Bilai, Sisi, Bilai, thank you for watching us. This is the name I was looking for, Gamai Kessely. And you say Gamay, I say Gamai. So we'll see how she pronounces her name. She's from Belafane. Okay, so she's from where my wife people from, Belafane, Boncante. I know my grandmother-in-law, my mother-in-law, the whole family from Belafane. Belafane is in the house. I'm watching from Atlanta, Georgia, in Lofa County, Liberia. Hey, Abdullah Dukle. What's that? That's it. Atlanta, Georgia, in Lofa County. What are you trying to say, Nelson?
It may confusing us.
I hope he's not related to the Dukle from the port or the Abdullah from LTA, because you get both names, Abdullah Dukle. Or you can say Abdullah Kiatama. Okay. Kiatama. Where is Kiatama? Okay. ATL is in the house. Bernice. Okay. Bernice says she's from Atlanta. Excuse me. Bernice, it's good to see you, my sister. Jackson. The name is Jackson Camo. Jackson Camo, watching from Collinsdale, PA. Yeah, Collinsdale. I mean, the weather is kind of fussy today. About to start raining. We'll take our time, continue to share the show. Our friend Jackson Camo. It's good to see you, brother. Richard Kai. Richard. Okay, forget it. It's Mr. Kai is in the house. Always watching. From where, sir? Vera, Sister Vera is here. Vera S.W. Wallace. See, where you watching us from, Vera? Where? Let's get Peter Solonte. This guy's, I think this is a crew guy. Maybe, I don't know. Where are you watching us from, Peter? Let's bring in Jimmy. Jimmy's what? B. Sewon. Jimmy B. Sewon. Jimmy is here. Jimmy, where you joining us from? We'd like to know where you joining us from as you share the show. I'm following you from Cotton Tree ABC Mission Community, Rabo International Airport Highway. This is Rabo Ningone. Somebody should just make the end silent. You get Gone or Ningone, either or. We want to welcome you, our brother Robert. Brother Robert, go on Facebook and share the show, please. Ajuman Cecilio Coco, watching live from New Jersey. Where in New Jersey, Cecilia? Juma, where in New Jersey? So there we go. They say, hi, CEO. I hope you're doing well. No, I have allergies. The pollen's too much and I have allergies. I'm reaching out from Staten Island, New York. Love tea. Amani Kroma. Right, Nelson? I think she been following your show before. I think Nelson, you told me that you know her though. I don't know, but that's our sister from all the way Staten Island. You got to cross that bridge to get to Staten Island. You know, Dr. Richard said she's from Brooklyn, so she's not too far. She just take the ferry. Bam, she's in Staten Island. The ferry right there. They take you straight to Staten Island. You know, they can sell some hot dog in the ferry. They got drinks, everything. And I was thinking, I think we need that in Liberia. We need a ferry system in Liberia. From all the way Bandra coming all the way to Vata, people just chill inside. You know, you can eat and it's easy. It's pussy too. You know, but you don't know more about New York. Ask the Brooklyn girl. She's in the house today. Welcome to the show, Dr. Francine Chinwe Richardson. It's good to see you. Somebody asked for you today, 197-year-old man. She asked for you. She said, I stopped seeing Dwalu and Dr. Richardson and the other boy from Europe. I said, Prince Maxwell. She said, yes. She said, my children are treating me so well. I am 97 years old. She said, I am 97 years, so I'm trying to find her, and I told her that I was going to send a shout out to her. She called me today. She said, Stanton, how you doing? I said, I'm trying. She said, good to hear from you. Where is Dwalu? I said, Angeline Sompon, I think that's her name. I think that's her name. She said, where is Dwalu? I said, Dwalu is basically trying to put some portfolio together. She said, but why? Stop saying Dr. Richardson. I said, well, Dr. Richardson will be on today. She said, oh, thank God. But what's that boy from Europe? I said, who, Prince Maxwell? She said, yes, that's my son. So, Prince, you got a message. 97 years old, but she's doing so strong. You can hear it in her voice, man. She she said she's moving around. She's using her walker. She's strong. And we just give God the glory for her and say thanks for watching us. We have Fubi here in the house. Fubi, how you doing today, my brother? It's good to see you. Dr. Richardson, how's your end? I don't know whether school closed or school ain't closed, whether you're grading paper or you're grading paper, you tell your own story. How you doing?
I'm doing well, busy. I'm grading papers because this is the end of the spring semester. We'll be rolling into the summer semester in the next 2 weeks, but I have to send in grades, so that's why I've been busy with. And then of course I have my private practice, as you know.
So they closed now for the year or just the semester? It's people are graduating, right?
Yes, so graduation will be happening in the next 2 weeks. I have to go to graduation. That's part of my job requirement. But the spring session is closed. So we got to go on to the summer session because I teach all year round.
So you just have only 2 weeks breaks, only 2 weeks.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
But like someone like my daughter who is finishing her first year of college, my last daughter, she's done for the whole until fall starts. Yeah. So, but not me. You're not the doctoral level students. So, but it's been busy. I'm multitasking.
But they pay you on your break. Then you get 2 weeks off. You got paid, right? Let's talk the money. You got paid, right?
Of course.
Wow. So you got paid for sitting at home for 2 weeks.
Well, yeah. I'm not sitting there where I just 2 hour grading.
No, you got 2 weeks in that space. You're not grading no more, and you're just gonna just stay home for 2 weeks and make some money. I mean, to go to school is good, though. What?
Jack, I don't.
So that book is sweet. So you just sit down for 2 weeks, and you get free money.
I think about putting the syllabus together. I'm reading articles.
Let me ask you a question. So we're talking on this issue that Rich is saying. The turnover in books, right? The textbook you guys use. Do you use it for whole semester and you get new edition, or you do that for the whole year, 2-3 semester? Because the turnover is fast here in America, right?
It is. It's very fast. So every time I write a syllabus up, I have to make sure that it's the latest edition of the book that I'm going to be asking the students to read. So sometimes some publisher might just have the turnover for 1 year. Sometimes it's 2 years, but I just have to be sure that we're up to date. But you're right.
Who approve it? Is that you approve it? Is the university board members go through them?
I'm most likely the one who select the book for my class, and I have to just share that with the dean.
Okay.
I've never had any problems with whether she disliked my books, but for the most part, the professor does.
So let's go back to Liberia. The reason why I know we're just teaching the rhyme, but the turnover in Liberia sometimes is 3-4 years. So not only the instructor or the professor, we have one book, and that book will travel for 5 years. Right? Fubi, if you attend the university, I didn't attend the university at Paul. Were you in the University of Liberia, Paul? No. So none of us on the show attended the university. So let's wait for the rest of the guys that went through the university. But what we know, even in high school, you get one book, and that one book will take you all the way to the graduation.
But
from ABC all the way to graduation.
But then I have to add, these days, we're not even using books. Everything is downloaded information.
No, I know, but you still go into the context of books, though you are not using everything is through technology, but you still using the book, whether it's soft copy, whether it's print, you still using something. But can we go back now? Like, I'm happy that Diamond going to Cottonton here and the team to speak to that booklet on their own, structure over there at Cottonton University. So, what's your take about the turnover time in Liberia?
I think it's slow. And the reason why I'm saying this is because every year there's new information. I mean, we're in the age of information. So even when I don't ask for the latest book, I see that I can compare and see that they add different things to it. They add in, in my case, for example, I'm teaching supervision and management and consultation this summer. The book last year had different cases in the book this year. So, and the cases are just new development in technology. How do we introduce AI or telehealth? Telehealth is a big thing now in my practice. So how do we teach students to use telehealth? In the book last year, it wasn't as popular and prominent, okay? But now there's a frequency in those kind of questions, like using telehealth.
So let me hold you right there. So you're also teaching yourself as you get ready to teach the student.
Yes.
Because it's new development, new technology, new style, new design. So you must find that place. So how do you now, is your university, do they have a program for faculties, for professors like yourself? You guys go on a training?
Yes. So, I mean, you are responsible for your own professional development, and it's only ethical for you to do that. For me, in order to uphold my license, as you probably know, as someone who studied nursing, you have to have certain CE credits. And that's the same thing for me as a psychologist. I have to be updated with my information in order for me to maintain my license. So, and even as a faculty member, you have to attend, conferences. You have to be in small group discussions about the subject matter that you're going to teach. In the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be sharing the course with a newer professor. And so we're going to be meeting to actually set different schedules and how we're going to test the students. So she and I are going to have a discussion, and we're going to share information about recent publications, which means articles. You can teach and give students articles to read that I think about 10 years old. I try, except if that article has some really, really important.
And that's the reason why I'm asking, because even if you come over here, right, and you did all the prereqs, I don't know whether that applied to your university. It should be within 3 years. Some institutions say 5 years. Anything above 5 years, you have to retake the classes, right?
Yeah, for the most part, yeah.
Yeah, you have to retake those classes. And but let's talk to the physician assistant, Paul Kennedy. Most people don't know that Paul. That's what he went to school for. I think it's Howard Paul. You did physician assistant, right? A year trained in America. Your turnover. Talk to us about the comparison in Liberia. How troubling it is for our folks in Liberia.
So thank you, Stanton. So the physician assistant profession actually started in Liberia around 1972, I'm told. And the only two countries, to my knowledge, that really have that institutionalized are Liberia and the United States. In the US, it's set up as a complementary support for for medical practitioners, the doctors. Because of the limited physicians at the time, the US government decided to introduce an accelerated medical program that was going to actually help to subsidize or complement, doctors in medicine, especially for hard to reach areas, right? So physician assistant became the go-to persons. But the way it's structured in the US, you are licensed not as an individual, but under a
the doctor. Let me ask you real quick. Most people, they are trouble, right? Like if you ask your daughter that want maybe go into the medical field or the kids, what's the difference with the nurse practitioner and the physician assistant?
So the nurse practitioner is specialized nursing applied science, whereas the physician assistant is a generalized accelerated medical program. And what do they mean by this? The physician assistant can do anything that a medical doctor does within their field and practice. So we assess the patient, we do analysis of the patient assessment, and we do prescription of the patient's treatment, and we treat and manage the patient.
So the woman asks you, why are you leaving all of that, right? That's what Rich is saying. And you're going way to Bapolu to be senator.
So now you're trying to be personal. So you're trying to be, I know, you're always going to be personal.
No, because I really want to put this out there, right?
So as a physician assistant, when I graduated 2009, right into the clinic, I started making $90,000, right? That is the baseline for a physician assistant.
When you started your rotation?
Yeah, no, but you complete your rotation.
You got everything. It's not a case.
You examine. You take your examination, your PENS, your physician assistant exam, just like the nurses, they have certification exam. So you take your exam and then you go to practice in the clinics or hospital or doctor's offices, wherever you want to work. And the physician assistant can now become specialized, right? When I graduated, I had to go back to do another year specializing as a cardiology assistant. So, you have the ability to go back to specialize. But why I went into work in public health, as a physician assistant, I was seeing only 15 patients a day. Come to the doctor's office, see them, do their assessment, and then they go home, you treat them, they come back. As a public health professional, when I write one policy, it affects 50 million people, right? So what else?
So hold on 1 minute. I know that's a sweet way you put it right now. That you can sell to Congress. Public health, Fubi, you can sell that explanation to Congress. They will buy into it. But how much are you making as a public health practitioner to that of physician assistant?
When I moved into public health, I was managing a program. I started making $110,000.
Bingo! Dr. Richardson.
It was not about the money.
Let me say my own. Let me say my own. Paul, let me say my own. It's clear. The man making 90K, a physician assistant seeing 15 people. Public had a man stay home and where he made over 150K. And you want me to believe that the man loved the population. He loved the earth. He loved the global system. Paul, congrats, my friend.
No, listen. So let me get.
We gotta go. I feel
anything. He will not let me listen. So let me, for instance, right? For instance, as a physician assistant, you are treating illnesses. As a public health professional, you are preventing illnesses. So what do I want to do? Do I want to sit for people to get sick before I try to?
That's a good way to put
kill
it.
them? Yeah. Or do I want to be the preventive arm to be really able to enforce policies and regulations and to educate people in how they can take care of themselves before they get sick? So I took the latter. I decided, you know what? I was going to more emphasize with my medical knowledge now that will really support my public health upbringing to be able to write policy to help improve the situation like we saw in Liberia. I was in Liberia and we really helped to manage COVID. COVID was...
I agree with you. Listen, I'm just kidding with you, man. And I got to tap into you guys here, because I think if you look at the country today, Phoebe, you are not in Liberia, but what? Before I ask you a question, what do you specialize in, Phoebe?
Accounting.
Okay. And you won all your school days in Liberia?
No, Ghana, Liberia.
Oh, okay. All right. So is there anything you want to compare with the Ghana training to that of Liberia?
For the grade schools, because I did grade school in Ghana, and there they had incorporated in their stuff vocational training. So it was a must. So you learn both academics and vocational training. So when you graduate from, especially from 9th grade, you got basic vocational skills that you can be able to do something for yourself. So even if you, most of the time when people fail their 9th grade WAEC, sometimes they are not eligible to go to senior secondary school or go to college. So they use whatever skill that they have learned while in junior high, and they can start making life from there. So the vocational training is something that I think we must incorporate in our school system and make it compulsory.
But you do have a lot of center VTC. We used to call it MVTC in Ghana's there, right? We do have them all over. What's going on with these great vocational training centers? They are empty, no money, and people have the future.
It's part of the school's curriculum. Like you're in grade school, you go into, for example, cathedral. You learn both academics and vocational. So you don't have to leave from your grade school and go and do extra vocational training. If you want to specialize, that one is fair. So like most of those multilaterals and top more, they were built with that capacity. Like you learn both academics and vocational training. So at the end of the day, after graduation, you are equipped both with academic knowledge and also technical skills that you can use to do. So the essence of that is to have it both in public and private schools, so that you don't have to leave from grade school and go to another vocational training. That should be for people that didn't have the formal. I didn't go through the world of formal academia. They can go through the vocational skills program.
Thank you, Dr. Richardson. Do you think education should be free for all in Liberia, not the paying WAEC? No, I'm talking about from 1 all the way to 12. Do you think, now we can talk about the university, but do you think it should be free, the public institution? Not the halfway free education people talk, oh, we pay WAEC. They selected free education. I mean, completely. Do you have a problem with that, Dr. Richardson?
Point of information, I think the public school systems in Liberia are free.
Okay, I know what I'm saying. Okay, because there's a big argument between the CDC and the United Party.
Right.
CDC say they are free and we pay WAEC. And people say, no, they are not completely free. What do you call free school? Free school should come with everything.
I agree.
Okay? Free school should come with paper and everything being free. You will not allow the student to pay registration for $150 and you say free school. Now, it also should come with all the necessary equipment when you talk about clinical labs. Let's know what Fubi is saying, the vocational part of the school. These things are not free. But Dr. Richardson, how free is free when it comes to education in Liberia?
So I think the issue is quality education, as opposed to just having an education system where is composed of parts and pieces. That's what I like to say. The current education system we have is like depends on parts and pieces. There's no, in my opinion, a generalized standard of what we expect in the whole school system, in the whole school district. For the most part, I believe that schools in Liberia should be free. I do believe that we have the resources. We have a lot of minerals. If we use them, use it right, if we look at the payment structure of who we're paying and who we're giving money to, we can look at the school system in Liberia and provide quality education to our students, starting from preschool, which I believe is the foundation of setting up an education program. You have to start from very early elementary programs. So I agree with you if you say that education, quality. There's a difference between just getting education. And I think education is a human right issue also for me. And we have a lot of people in Liberia who tend to be, on the lower end of the economic ladder. And for any other reason, that's the reason why we need to provide quality education. And the reason why they are at the lower end of the economic ladder is because of our country's, partially because of our country history, and because of just the nature of how we are as Liberians. But yes, I do think quality education should be free.
Well, let's talk before I go to Uncle Sam, right? I think there's a lot of people appreciating this topic. We'll do it up till 9:30, and then we can get to the show. But Dr. Richard said, your kids went to school. You are talking about Sally Mae. You are talking about these different loans you're going to take, and but thank God for some people the job helped them, but not 100%. For some people, you got to take loan. Do you think it's important right now for us to do something like that in Liberia? Parents take loans for the kid. Long-term loan, by the way, Joe.
If it is set up right, because we have a history of setting up systems in our country, like a loan system, and that loan system only benefit the few. If we have a loan system that is set up that it will be beneficial to all and accessible to all, I do think that it is a good idea. Okay, like you said it correctly. I actually call the loan that I took from the United States government a mortgage, my second mortgage for my brain. Another thing that nobody would take away from me. My students, although I sponsored them to go to school, but there were certain times that they needed to take loan out to get through their first set of education. And those who are going on for a secondary education, they will go based on knowing that they have the accessibility to loan. They have loans accessible to them. So I think that it would be a good system if we set it up right. Okay. And I do have to pay back my student loan. Everyone who for the most part, people who take student loan in the United States, you have to pay it back. So it's not something free. Yes, so I think that we should set up that system in Liberia. It will be very helpful.
Yeah, Uncle Sam, welcome to the show. How you doing, sir?
Oh man, I'm better today, man. Last night I had a very, oh my God, I was so tired. I couldn't even stand up. I had a bunch of business meetings. I had to go to the airport. I had meetings. I had to write a paper late in the night. And my whole head was just about to burst. So I called you and I said, man, and I just went to sleep. So thank God. I know that, and the physician assistant can correct me, but my doctor tells me that rest is more important than exercise. So I typically rest a lot. And I think that's one of the reasons for my so-called longevity going to age 72. So I just told her, thank God. And I was like praying last night. I said, oh my God, the way I'm so tired, I just hope I don't go to sleep and not wake up. So, but I did go to sleep and I woke up and I had a very early morning meeting at 8:30. And then you saw me in my suit today. Yes. And I did my presentation and did the interaction and everything went well. So thank God. And I just want to tell everybody, thank you. Okay, those people who wish me well on a constant basis, and all my fans and even my adversaries, I'm sure they don't wish me ill will. But I'm okay. I'm feeling good tonight. I came home early around 3:00. I slept until 7:30 our time. So now I'm doing good. Thank you very much, Tanner, for asking.
Uncle Sam, thank you, man. And listen, Uncle Sam, how old were you when you retired? Retired completely from working.
The thing is, I haven't. Besides being minister for like a year on a Taylor, which was 2002 February to August 11, 2000, I haven't had a regular 9-to-5 job in 35 years. In 35 years, I haven't had a real 9-to-5. So when I left New York, I went to Atlanta, and I had some issue with my Series 763 because I had an issue, and I couldn't work in the financial services field. So I opened up a cleaning business in Atlanta in 1992. Kirby, I was selling Kirby, and I bought a van with a truck mount, and I was cleaning carpet. And I made more money doing that than I was working in investment banking. So then in 1995, came to South Africa and been consulting and so on and so forth. But in 2002, I went to Liberia and worked for a year and a few months on the job still. But since the political economic dispensation since 2003, I haven't worked for anybody. I've been doing my own thing. So wow. I accumulated enough money when I went to Liberia after the war, where I opened up an ice business.
Yeah.
A bakery.
A gas station.
Yeah. A dollar store, and I bought some properties, and that's what I've been living off for that time. But I'm also in the States too. I've been flipping houses since the 80s. I've been flipping houses. In fact, I just flipped like 4 houses a couple of weeks ago. All of them haven't been paid. Only 2 have been paid. There were some issues.
So there's a reason why you say all of them have not paid yet, because you didn't send my car. No.
The private equity fund that is buying the houses, they basically do really strong inspections. So one of the houses on Fairmount in Detroit has a sewage problem, and when we correct that, and one of the houses I had not rehab it, and the city condemned it. And
I understand what you said. That's fine. I look forward to seeing you.
Yeah. But you're talking something good about public education, right? Public education in the United States is mostly funded by what? Property taxes. And Dr. Richardson, you will know that. In school districts where they have high income, the schools are good. In the school districts where they have low income, the schools are terrible. But the whole idea is the universal access to education, especially from pre-K all over to grade 12. And of course, you know about Head Start and all of those kind of programs, right? The problem with Liberia is that our public education system is not structured in a way because it's not funded. So the majority of students in Liberia go to private schools, like the mission schools by the missionaries. In fact, the religious schools, they have more impact on, like I mostly went to religious schools. I went to like Kerry, which is Baptist, and I went to St. Patrick's, which was Catholic, right? Then I went to the United States when I was going to age 16, and I went to public school. And then in college, of course, the U.S. government paid my school fees, and I just took the voucher to the bursar's office.
Yeah, let's just hold it there, because we got about 11 minutes to go. Uncle Sam, but you hit something. You can. It's not in Liberia though. Yeah, you are quite correct. You know what happened? We found most immigrants. I can say this because it's a struggle coming here to hustle your way through. Some family will leave from one community, that of Richardson, and take that child in a better community for that child to go to school in that community. Yeah. And you see, there's people in Washington to see who's doing those things. But you understand that you want your child to get a better education. You don't want to go to school where they will be fighting and calling the police, and that community is a poor community. So Uncle Sam, you're quite correct. But you want to say something that Richardson real quick? I'll bring it down to booklet. We got.
But I'm not finished yet.
Oh, Uncle Sam, go ahead. Finish up.
Yeah. Look, the education system in the U.S. and I haven't lived in. I haven't gone to school in other countries, but American educational system is really one of the best on the planet. Really one of the best on the planet. But it is so structured. For example, Dr. Richardson, taking a school bus, if you live just a few feet from the line, you have to walk to school. Only students who are within like a mile and a half or 2 or more can take the school bus. Because I remember when I was going to high school, I had to walk to school because I was less than a mile and a half from the school system. And I used to see the children taking the bus and going to school, and I would be freezing in February going to high school, But it is so structured. But you're talking about free school. Public education in Liberia free school in Liberia is not free because there are a lot of charges associated with that. The registration, the uniform, yeah? Then of course, books, right? And other instruction materials. And then all of these other schools, the fees, like the graduation fees, the wire fees, and all of that. So public free education is not free in Liberia. It comes with a cost that most people cannot afford. And we need to restructure that. But you can't restructure that without decentralizing the financing and the whole management system of the school. They have school districts in America, right? We don't have school districts in Liberia. For example, like if you live
Like you understand, we got to run from this one. We got 8 more minutes left. I want to give that to Richardson. You want to say something?
Yeah,
just 3 minutes on that too.
I was just going to add, Uncle Sam made an excellent point about the property tax. That is what enabled the strength of school districts in the United States. People live in different areas and they take the money from your property taxes to support the schools and other areas. So I just wanted to say that you made a good point about that. And also to add that in the past, you could move your child because you wanted a better education for your child from maybe if you live in one district, you bring, like Cynthia was saying, you could bring your child to a different school district just for that child to get a better education. But they are cracking down on that seriously, Stanton. I do remember I had to host one of my daughter's friend because her parents had moved out of the district and she wanted to graduate from this district because all her life she had attended the district school. When I went to go register her to my address, they made me become a power of attorney for her. I had to file and become a guardian for her in order for her to live in my school district. So that's how serious and important these people find that you must live in the school district to attend the school. You must live in the school district to benefit from the property taxes. The second thing somebody mentioned, one of our audience mentioned, a commentator mentioned that how do we implement student loan in our country when our students don't have jobs or don't have jobs? In order to pay back your student loan, you have to have a job. And that was a good point that this person.
It was a good passing point, but now the folks are saying we should spend a little more time on this conversation. Listen, guys, we don't plan this thing. We just come out and just bring up conversation of everyday living. All right, it's 9:24. If you want us to spend a little more time on it, we'll do another rounds on it. But I like what Dr. Richardson said. Ask for somebody property tax year. One. Ask somebody, say how much for your taxes. How much do you pay annually? Yeah, people pay $8,000, $9,000 property. Not even your mortgage, just the taxes, right? And that's why your children go to the better school and they learn well, because of the environment you live in. But yes, the catch though. We all can sit here and say that all day long, Paul Kennedy. Most people have property in Liberia. Are you paying your property taxes? That would be the question. But you faithfully pay a year because you cannot say, I am not paying my property taxes. You cannot say, no, I will skip a month. When you have a mortgage, it's within the mortgage. When you own a home, like Uncle Sam own all his property, he got no mortgage on that. It means that every year, or quarterly, Uncle Sam have to write a check to pay the taxes.
Let's give you an example, quick, Stanton.
Yeah, they'll go to Paul.
Yeah, like my house in McDonough, right? The property taxes is $4,800, right? It was due on March 15. When I didn't pay on March 15, they put a lien automatically on the house.
That's correct.
So if by next year I don't pay that, it was going to go to public auction, right? The property taxes in Liberia is a very low compliance rate. Only 5% of properties in Liberia, because I did a study for them.
So let's get back to you. Let's give Paul the chance because you going somewhere that I want us to go. But let Paul finish with this school thing. Then we'll get to the property taxes, Uncle Sam, please. Paul.
Yeah, thank you, Stanton. So first information I wanted to provide is, Uncle Sam, there are actually school districts in Liberia. There are 98 school districts, and maybe Dr. Bropler can add up to that. But you all were saying the best in the interest of the country. Look,
but the Paul, just give me. So how are these school districts? How are they decided?
There are 98 school districts, and the Ministry of Education has that dichotomized. They appropriate school utilities, school planning.
Do they have an administrative structure?
They do. They got county education officers. Yes, they got district education officers.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, there are school districts, just like they have health district, agriculture districts, and school district. I know that because I worked to plan the One Health system together in Liberia. So you all spoke of very good things, free, good quality, but I want to add compulsory education. When you have free education and it is of good quality, it has to be compulsory to really get the outcomes that the country wants. You see a lot of children in the streets in Liberia selling peppermint candy, doing school hours on the streets instead of going to school. Now, if government is taking the initiative to make sure that these children will go to school for free, government will also have to make it compulsory that, at school time, there will be no child singing in the streets of Monrovia during those school hours. They will catch you, they take you to your parents, and your parents will be responsible to account for why you are in the streets at that time, right? So there needs to be policy reform on that. Another thing Phoebe was talking about, which makes a lot of sense, is this industrious training during the school hours. When I was growing up, they had one school on the bypass called Bassa Teenage. When you go to Bassa Teenage, you had the option to do electricity, plumbing, and auto mechanic. As soon as you reach in the 10th grade, you'll do that for 2 years. When you graduate, they give you a certificate and a diploma. So you graduate with whatever the high school diploma is, but you also get a certificate in the particular training course you had to do. If you want to do auto mechanic, you'll do that. That was in Monrovia. I'm not talking about the industrial that there. And then finally, Stanton, I just wanted to throw this out. The Liberian National Police and Cottondown University will sign an MOU tomorrow that will actually have Liberian police officer and fire service officer to go to Cottondown for 4 years. And when they graduate with a degree in criminal justice or something, and they will come back to serve the Liberian police. And then they'll have 20 of them just from the community, ordinary Liberians who are not police officers, who will also be enrolled in that program.
This information that only comes from Paul Kennedy.
As a pipeline
Can I ask Paul a quick question, please?
We got to run. We got to run.
30 seconds.
We got to run, Uncle Sarah. I'm going to bring in that to
30 seconds. This is important. Paul, you said they have 98 school districts and they are administrative school districts in Liberia. Are they just on paper or they are very functional?
They are functional. They have district education officers that work within those school districts. It's not on paper. I've worked with them.
And in Monterrado County, they are visible.
No, Monterrado County has a different school system. It's the Monrovia considered district schools. They have the Monrovia considered district school system in Monterrado, outside Monterrado.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you. Let me bring in Dr. Bobland. Let's finish with you. You from Cottondown. You one of the dean over there, I do believe. Let's hear you. Then we'll go to the phone line on this great conversation. The folks say they want to participate, so we'll entertain their comment. Dr. Bobland, welcome. Good to see you.
Thank you, Stanton. Good to be here always. And welcome and good evening to all of my friends and, of course, all those who join us and participate. Keep engaging, one conversation at a time. We can change the nation. I have the privilege to serve at Cottondown. I'm actually not a dean. I'm the vice president for the graduate school. So I manage that campus.
Okay, thank you.
Paul, thank you for putting that pitch in tomorrow. It's a big day in Swakoko, a special relationship being birthed between Cottondown and the police. So we are going to pour into them. They are going to help us. And I think we'll build a stronger community and a relationship. So thank you for that. So my 2 cents on education is something I'm very passionate about. I grew up in a very poor place, Upper Buchanan. I went to Methodist school. I walked to school. Walk every day, about 3.5 miles to school, 3.5 miles back. You had to go to football game, you come home, you do your work, you go back, you walk again. But we had a good foundation. I left from Methodist school. I went to Kara in Nimba for junior high school. I left from Carroll, I went to Ricks in Virginia for high school, and then from Ricks on to Cuttington, and then Cuttington to LU, and on and on and on. I've been privileged to have much exposure in the area of education. That's a blessing. That's what I want to say and contribute to the conversation about education. Paul said something about Uncle Sam asked about whether the school district are functional. They're functional, but they're grossly underfunded. That is the very sad part. Very sad. So because they're grossly underfunded, they're not doing what they should be doing. I think it's time for us in this country to make a bold move and make education fund a designated fund. We're afraid of that. We put education in the mix with everybody else, and then we give them what we give them. We raise our taxes, Stanton. I went to in a team in place recently to buy food, and I noticed the tax is in place. But they never said what the extra money would go. The goal was just want to get $1 billion. How about we take that extra 2% and commit it to education like the people do in other places, including the USA? Why don't we designate X amount of dollars? If you spend less, then more will be used for innovation and creativity to develop the sector. But we don't do that, and we should. I also think that the president needs an education czar, okay, a special advisor or go-between, okay? The sector head is our honorable minister of education, and then somebody who can go between, not just a bureaucrat, but somebody who brings creative energy and new ideas to the education sector. And then we need to make a bigger investment to student loan. Folks, they've been having student loan in Ghana for a long time. Student loan helps. Every child that graduates from high school in Liberia should have some funding to go to college or technical school. Good things happen. One, you invest in human capital. Two, students now have an obligation to pay back to the nation. So that's an investment. Three, they have a more focused energy to either finding a job or creating jobs. Okay? So the government creates future income by investing in students. Don't leave them hanging. Give them opportunity to go to college or give them opportunity to go to technical school. If the Ghanaians can do it, the Liberians can do it too. We need to make the investment not just on paper. We make the investment for real. And of course, I will close with this. This is just my signature thing. If you decentralize, education will work better in Liberia. Everywhere in the world you look where education is running very well, it is local. Because the best way to develop good school system is to have the resources there, but have the local people run the show. That's the best way. And take it from somebody who has been an educator in school districts, and I've seen it work. It can work in Liberia too, if we dare to go that way.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Bopler. Thank you, Uncle Sam, Paul Kennedy, Phoebe Harris, Dr. Richardson. Just real side-by conversation here, which is so important for us all. The reason why I actually would put this in is because sometimes you just look at all the plenty different stuff you pay here. But do they give back within the community? Do you receive all the services? You ask yourself, is my electricity going off? No. Is my water stopped running? No. My children not going to school because the principal cannot pay the staff? No. You know, everything just look good. If your road got a problem, they just come and fix it easy. You know, and you got no problem. If you call the police, they are there within the time frame. The fire service department, they are present. You know, even your dog get problem, you call animal control, they run and come in, just hit the 911. But what's the big issue here? What makes this so unique? What makes the system so in place? Then you ask yourself, Dr. Bopler, when last did you pay your taxes? When last? When last you went out to LRA, went to the bank and pay your property taxes? When last you think, how many people are paying? Now, if you get Stephen Tower Estate, the public school is project, because I attend the project. That's a big estate, you know. How many people paying property taxes? That place was for the government, but guess what happened? People living in it free now. So how would the community be taken care of? And these are some of the things people need to understand. But I know you really want to push this thing a little more. I want us to go to the phone line. We got so many people here in America. They got things in Liberia happening. Are they contributing to the country, to the government? Or is this everything the government problem? Are you just only seeing the government, but it's your problem too? So Nelson, can we go to the phone line? And while we do that, anybody else want to add something? You want to add something while Nelson come on, go to the phone line quick? Yeah, Fubi.
Yeah, and also listen to everybody, all are good points, and there are a few things like that I recently point out about the person that talked about job creation. So building the private sector of people to be able to earn money to be able to manage some of those things we're talking about is key. And also government, the amount of public schools that we have are very limited. So they don't have the capacity to host the student population that we have. So definitely you see more private schools are springing up. So if government can also raise money for subsidy, then that would be an option to solve that problem, or build more private schools to make that effective. And the standards that government hold, the private schools have more quality education than the public schools. So those are key issues that we also need to look at. The government there are a lot of things around it. So besides even, and you're talking about what are people paying their taxes in Liberia, unfortunately, besides the indirect tax and the income tax that come from employees at the different workplaces, people don't pay taxes, but most of it is due to the high level of corruption, because almost all those that are getting government at the end of the day, they get richer than those that are paying the taxes. So that's a key issue that we also have to look at. If government is tackling corruption, you can close a lot of the loopholes that are sipping some of those money out, and some of those money can be directed into the educational sector, like Dr. Bopler said. Are we dedicating percentage of our budget towards education, percentage of our budget towards healthcare? So this is just for education purpose. That's something that we need to look at, holistically from the country point. But it's all good points made.
Yeah, Chief, very quick.
My thing is that where I'm going here, sorry, I think it was Dr. Richardson, right?
Yeah,
let me just end this real quick. Let me just end this real quick, Dr. Bob. Let us compare something, right? And most of the private school, I think we should just say this truthfully, Dr. Richardson. Representative own private school. Senators are own private schools. They are taking that which belongs to the public school and taking them to the private school. Why can't you own them when you are not in government? I mean, why can't you build this thing? Some of them just only build this institution because of what they receive while in government. So we should understand that it's both ways, but I don't want us to spend a lot of time. We got 20 minutes left. We got to go to the phone line. So let's go to Dr. Richardson, Dr. Bopler, and Uncle Sam. Then we can wrap up and go to the phone line.
No, I was just going to highlight the point that you were saying that, and I said this on the show before. I have a social contract with the government of the United States, and I would love to have the same social contract with the government of Liberia. And in that social contract, it says that I pay my taxes in order for me to receive certain services. For example, I want, like you said, I want quality education at the school my children attend. That means they hire good teachers. They have access to technology on a updated basis. We have good athletic programs, where they can their football field alone looks like upgraded football field. I want good infrastructure. My roads are good. I want good security, like you said, like the police can come to your door, and if there's anything's going on, they come and ask you, and it's settled there. I want good zoning laws. Not anybody can just come and put any kind of structure in the area in which I live. You can just build anywhere. The place is very zoned. Now, if I get that kind of offer in Liberia, I mean, and private taxes have been paid in Liberia because I've seen receipt of my grandfather's taxes that he paid for his property in Liberia. But if I have that kind of service, and I definitely wouldn't mind engaging in such a social contract with the government. It's a contract. I pay taxes for certain things, and I expect to receive certain things. When you look at our budget, agriculture and education are in the lower percentile, the very low percentage of how much we pay. So we don't emphasize education, and it's true. I want to just agree with that as well. So
Thank
that's
you.
what
Thank you, Dr. Boblet.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that the LRA today's standard is way more effective than the LRA of yesteryears. And people do pay property tax. I'm one of them. My only regret is that property taxes should be for the counties, for county development, because that's where the property are, and so all of the infrastructure. So if you take property tax in Magibi, for example, and use that for development in Magibi County, Magibans already know that $1 is here for us. People will pay the taxes. People also be more cooperative with the system because they see it coming back to them. When you take the money, send it to Central Monrovia, and you see people just spending money on trips and cars, and we here in the county paying the taxes, it frustrates people. And those are some of the things that engender a lack of cooperation and a bypassing of the system. I do want to encourage everybody to pay the taxes, but we need a different structure. Property tax belong to the county where the properties are.
Dr. Boblet, thank you very much. We want to welcome Glenny. Uncle Sam, you want to add something quick?
Yeah, look, Dr. Boblet, I don't know what the statistic is now on the compliance rate with property taxes, but the last time I did a study, it was only a paltry 5%. So maybe they're more aggressive in affluent areas like Marshall, where they have these big houses, right? But for the rest of the country, I don't see the compliance significantly above 5%. The second thing I want to talk about is that school districts in America, they have private citizens on those school boards. They are elected to the school boards, and there are accountability, okay, for the superintendent of the school district, like for example, and they use criteria like what? Standardized test scores, right? They use standardized test scores to determine how efficient and effective a school superintendent is, and also college acceptance rates. Those are the kind of measurements that they use in America to determine whether a particular school district is performing. Unfortunately, in Liberia, it does appear that the school district, they are appointed by politicians in Liberia. And then Paul said there are no school district in Monrovia, but there are Monrovia Consolidated School System. And I don't know how effective they are in terms of how they are in terms of with the stakeholder engagement, because I lived in Liberia consistently for the last 22 years. No one came to me at any time to participate in where I live, either when I was living in Pinsville, Joe Bob, or in Gate Town where I live now. I mean, I just don't know what is going on. So apparently there's not enough outreach because I mean, I could play a role in the school district. I could help them with finances in terms of I could help them with a lot of different things. I could be a volunteer school teacher. I could help students with their homework. There are a lot of things that educated people could do, but since there is no structure, so even though you guys say exist, I say it's not existing because I don't see an administrative structure and I don't see any significant impact on the students living in our communities from our school district.
Thank you. Thank you, Dato. Thank you very much, Uncle Sam. We gotta go. I want to say thanks to all of you. Glenn, sorry that you came late. We'll catch up with you. I know that you from Capleton, you from all over the school system in Liberia. You know, but we want to say, Glenn, you know, we love you. Welcome to the show. I just want to say that Richardson says something which ran into my mind. That probably you realize that, and I shared this before. Just to build a basketball court at the back of my house, I had to go to the township. Imagine, I got nothing to do with the neighbors. The yard is big, and the land can take it or full basketball court. But guess what happened? They never said, if you do that, can't you stop playing basketball 7 p.m. because I'm old and my wife old, we got to go to bed. So we had to agree Now 7 p.m. we're not play, and 7 p.m. we cannot be outside playing basketball because he's old. And you know, the basketball, listen, it's the system, Uncle Sam. The township called us. We went for the meeting. Can you consider him? We understand that your property, but can you consider that he got to go to bed? He got to be, you cannot play basketball such and such time, or go to the park and play your basketball. So we found ourselves in the middle and we're able to build the basketball court. So of course, now the man moved, he's old, we got young people move in. So we found, but then we had to agree. So when Dr. Richardson talked about zoning, you got to take it like 10 or 15 feet away from the fence. Because we share common fence, you cannot attach the car too close to his fence. We got to bring it all the way in. It's a lot. But in Liberia, guess what happened? Like, put it in there, man.
They're playing music near your house. They're playing the music near your house.
And my brother, they put it in there, man. I mean, but anyway.
Even with Airbnb, right? There are certain homeowners association where if you want to put Airbnb there, you have to get approval, and you got to go to your neighbors and get a letter of approval before you can even use your property as an Airbnb. That's how structured those people are in America.
You stop the thing you're doing, man. When you're
one last thing quick to add, Uncle Sam, you got rental property, right? And I believe that probably on the low key too, he does. But guess what happened? In the neighborhood, you just can't put anybody in your rental property. You got to increase the insurance value. It got to be above 5,000. If you live in there, it's lower. But if you have to put it out for rent, you got to increase it. So then you ask the question, why? Because of so many different reasons. But it's good for us to connect with Liberia. We got so many Liberians here in the United States. They want to participate. We got about 12 minutes left. Let's open the phone line and let's hear your story. The school district, your taxes you pay, your neighborhood, your community, your state. Let's hear your story. And then one day, we'll try to take this to Liberia and we'll be all about it. That's just 1 hour of the program we just cover right now. Something just popped up, and not every day too much of politics. But we will talk about ArcelorMittal and the way forward because they had a big meeting today. The RMCC had a meeting today. ArcelorMittal and HPX, somebody is not too happy, and we got to discuss it. And we're going to talk about other national issue, which is big. We just saw that Freeport or Sekou Duplé signed a contract with another company out there. But I want to say this again. Something is amazing. All of that contract, we'll discuss it likewise. I want to say all of you welcome. Continue to share the show. Nelson, can we go to the phone line? If you have anybody calling, let's put the number up and let's see how people want people. Welcome to the show, Councilor Good, and thank God that we're seeing you on tonight.
So,
yeah, I don't know if the people want to call from Labrador, they can call from all. What the number is up 609-649-4206 077-691-8639. That's the number for you to call. Let's hear your story.
So we have some callers here already. This person, hello.
Yeah, hello.
You're live. Your name and where you call from?
My name is Stephen Douglas, and I do join from Congo Town.
Douglas, go ahead.
This station is our station, the Liberian station. So if the CEO know the station for the Liberian people, please, the kind of development are going on. Like, yes, some of the development. Not every day the government do the one, the government do the contract, the contract cover. Please tell the Liberian people what the government have been doing. That's what the people we hear now.
Thank you very much. Hello. Hello.
Yeah, hello. What are you doing? Hello. This is Western Territory. Before that.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead quickly.
Okay, so I want to say something. Tend to see when you say something important that none of Nigerians here are going to do something bad in that. Everything can be the government. That's true. So I am telling doing something. I'm asking our community members that are living in the place to join me because we can't. Everything can be the government, but open the alley, government should open the book. So what I did, being my husband, and I opened the book. So now I'm see people actually direct with me to trouble so can hope you out or everything can be the problem.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your input.
Let me take this one very quick. Your name and where you joining us from?
This is James David calling from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania.
James, talk to us, my friend.
Yeah, to improve the school system in Liberia, they need to cut down the representative and senator allowance. No fuel slip. They must work with ease. Their fuel slip must come from within a salary. No cell phone card, it must come from within a salary. Everything that benefit must come from within a salary. Because everybody that working with government, they are equal. Because the other people, they don't get no benefit that coming from the salary, they coming directly from the salary.
Thank you.
For the 3,000, for the now, for the 5,000, it's not coming from the salary.
Thank you.
So why would you pay somebody that the people in the school district is suffering? So the first way is that way that the senator there, they go with your own managing director there and your minister there. You call allowance.
Thank you very much, my friend. We heard you. Let's move on. Your name and where you joining us from?
Hey, Senator.
Yes, sir. Welcome.
Thank you very much. This is McGee Cyrus. I'm calling you from Minneapolis area.
Yeah.
And these are two key important topics that are intertwining. One, the school system, two, the taxes. Dr. Brookler raised a very serious point. Why would people in Nimba that is fastly growing pay their taxes and is brought to Monrovia before the national government decide what goes to Nimba, whether in development funds or whatever? That's one point. The educational system. Let us look at, I'll send you a video set up. Take your time and look at that courtesy of Julius Jet during the elections. The public schools in the counties are dying. Look at that building that was used as a public school where election commission used for electioneering purposes. They had to use a church in that area. While that school was built with mud bricks, it's broken down. But guess what? Sir Joseph owns a university. Thomas Father owns a university. Senator Prince Johnson owns a university in Nimba. These our national leaders are taking the monies, putting it into their own private university and institutions. While the schools in your counties, the universities in your counties are dying. We need to rethink.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Let me take this one right here. Your name and where you joining us from? Hello? Your name and where you joining us from? Hello? Hello?
Oh.
Yeah, your name. Your name. Where you joining us from?
Oh, my name is Noble Fumbler, and I'm joining you from St. Paul, Minnesota.
Yeah, talk to us, Noble.
Okay, so everything you guys are saying on there is so right. I mean, whether it's taxes, property taxes, community development, school districts and things like that. These are all low-hanging fruits, but we need people who would champion those changes for us in this 21st century. I cannot put a letter in the mail to an address in Liberia. That's the only country I know of that I cannot put a letter in the mail to. I mean, we're 177 years old, approaching 200, and we still don't have a real good mailing system in the country. They're talking about property taxes. That's a high revenue stream that the government can really tap into. But we don't have, I'm not sure we have a way to evaluate homes, to tax them accordingly, because everybody is supposed to be paying taxes. Every home, every property, whether it's income tax, property tax, sales tax, all those things there. These are things that will put the country forward.
Thank you.
But we need people with vision, leaders with vision to make these things happen.
Thank you.
We elect the worst leaders always. That's it.
Thank you, Noble. Thank you very much, Noble. Thanks a lot. You got someone else now. We can stop. At least we took few calls. To be fair, I want to say thank you, Nelson. Let's get this thing rolling. Thank you very much, Nelson. I want to say to all of you again, welcome to the show. Today is the 6th. And if you all remember, today is the birthday of the late Samuel Kaindo, May 6th. May his soul rest in peace. And I believe his family is remembering him today. I also want to say to you, we're going to get straight into the program. Continue to share the show. Thank you for joining us. Sorry that Sis Glennie is, she went in the back. We couldn't hear her, but let's get into it. Yesterday, some of you guys were off. you know, and we were discussing ArcelorMittal and HPX. We had a document, we went through it. Today, the IMCC, the Interministerial Committee, they met today, and guess what happened? There's a little hiccup as to what they're going to do with the Liberty Corridor. You know, I really want to hear from you. What's your take when it comes to the HPX and ArcelorMittal? All the documents in the chat room, you went over them, you read them. Let's just close up on it because we tried to close it up yesterday, but we ran out of time. So those of you that were off yesterday, we're going to reach out to you first. Uncle Sam left. Uncle Sam, let's hear you. Then we can go to the rest of the guys. Then yes, the HPX and the ArcelorMittal team.
Background you gave, but I need just like 30 seconds to get the background. The Nimba range, right, where this Yekepa is the Mamban range, and the Lamco relinquished that and left the country. So it was like what they call a brown field, which is an area that had been mined already. So in 2006, when Ellen came to power, it was not Ellen, Judy Bryant gave that concession to ArcelorMittal. And they gave the railroad and the port to ArcelorMittal. So when Ellen came to power, she said, but this is an asset the Liberian government owns. You cannot just give the railroad and the port to, at that time, was Mittal Steel before they became ArcelorMittal. So Ellen renegotiated the contract, and Liberia got 30% of equity in the project because they were contributing the railroad and the port. And I'm not sure that agreement, whether that 30% was a free carry interest where Liberia's interest could not be diluted. What it means that if you own a company, 70-30%, every time there's a need to make investment, you have to contribute. If you don't contribute, then your equity gets diluted. But be that as it may, the Liberian government owned the railroad. They gave it to ArcelorMittal to operate the railroad. Now, in Guinea, there's significant amount of iron ore in Guinea, like in Simandou, in the Nima region, and what have you. To transport that ore from near the Liberian border to Conakry is about 1,000 kilometers. It will make the project not viable. So it would make more sense for the Guineans to build a railroad to connect to the ArcelorMittal, to come to Buchanan and export, right? So the negotiations have been going on. So HPX owns the Manima project in Guinea. They've already mined some ore there, it's sitting there. So HPX, Ivanhoe Atlantic, they want to use the railroad. They want to use the ArcelorMittal. ArcelorMittal is saying, we have exclusive rights to the railroad, but the Liberian government went and did something called the National Rail Authority, which will open the road to what they call multi-users. So I mean that other people can use the railroad. The sticky issue right now is ArcelorMittal wants to be the operator of the railroad. And HPX is saying, no, we need to have an independent. There's already a National Railroad Authority, which is operating well, which is an authority, but you need like an actual operator of the railroad to determine when and how commodities move on our railroads. So where the issue is right now, ArcelorMittal still have 5 more years on their 25-year agreement with the government of Liberia. So they're sticking to the fact that they want to have exclusive use of the railroad. They want to operate the railroad and determine what capacity is given to other companies. So that's what the fight is all about right now. About a week ago, the National Investment Commission Chairman, Blibo, wrote ArcelorMittal a letter telling ArcelorMittal that they were the owner, they were the operator of the railroad. And I understand that backfired. President Joseph Boyka did not agree with that. So now, because they said the Minister of Finance was not present, the Minister of Lands and Land was not present, and other significant officials of the government were not present. So that's the thing. So when Jeff Blibo wrote the letter to ArcelorMittal, there's a lady called Brownie Barnes, who is the chief executive officer of HPX.
We read the letter yesterday, Uncle Sam. We went through it yesterday. Uncle Sam, we went through it, Uncle Sam.
Wrote a very nasty letter to the president. And Mullah P. Kamara got very upset about that. And then he wrote a letter to this Brownie Barnes woman. He basically saying you're disrespecting our president. So that's where the matter is. So the IMCC was supposed to meet today and make a determination how they're going to model the multi-user railroad. But believe it or not, ArcelorMittal will continue to insist that they operate that railroad. They want full unlimited access to the railroad, and they want to determine what comes on the railroad, when and where, because they believe that their concession is still valid for another 5 years. So that's the issue right there.
Okay, so we went through all of that. We read both emails, the letters, everything. But the question remains, Uncle Sam, today there was a meeting held, yes, and the personal position now is. We're going to discuss that. It's troubling. Dr. Richardson, yes, indeed, you missed yesterday too. I think, Councillor, you were off as well yesterday. Real quick, what do you think? The president, let's fast forward here now. We heard Uncle Sam's explanation. Dr. Richardson, if you didn't read it, it's in the chat room. President Bouaga is trouble. He between the right and the high place. He still got to deal with ArcelorMittal that lasts up to 2030, right? He made some verbal assurances. He gave HPX. He even assured HPX through the ambassador, likewise. We put the document in the chat room today. The special envoy on Africa, representing Donald Trump, he appreciated the president again on those assurances that were given on HPX. But it seemed to be that the president is backtracking. The president is pulling things back. He's not too sure what to do. Dr. Richardson, are we in a troubled territory yet? If you remember HPX and Samuel Twe, the sanction, and the CDC government, folk just afraid to vote against HPX. Are we in a trouble area when the president cannot make up his mind, Dr. Richardson?
Well, I'd like to first state that I didn't get all of the information that you guys discussed yesterday. So, but based on what I just heard today, it appears that HPX received mixed messages from the government. It appears that they thought they were at least going to have some access to the railroad. But now we are hearing that ArcelorMittal is saying, no, we want to be the operator and we are going to determine who will use this railroad. And so I think that all of the stakeholders at least have to get together, all right? And the ultimate goal should be the best interests of Liberia. I know HPS will want the best interest for them because they are a business, they're a company, they're profit making. I know ArcelorMittal will want the same thing for them. And so Liberian government should also be able to advocate for us, for the government. So at the end of the day, at some point, there has to be some discussion about how is the profit that you're going to make going to benefit Liberians or Nima County as a whole. So I'm going to stop here and then let me hear what others have to say about this. That's just based on my preliminary knowledge about this information.
Thank you very much. And again, it's so good that we can have this conversation. I want us to close on it, then we'll talk about what was said in the meeting today. Thank God that we have people that share information with us. We appreciate those sources. Paul Kennedy, you were on the show yesterday. Here we are. The information that the president still have cold feet. And, you know, the decision is still hanging. They want to go back down in the bidding process. Why are you going to go back to a bidding process? Like the highest bidder would take this thing, or again, everything to buy more time. The government is still starting. Do you really think, Paul, are you with us? Okay, I think Paul now with us. Let's go to food. Paul, are you with us? Yeah, let's hear you, Paul. Yeah, let's hear you. What do you think the president have on cold feet here? No decision was made today, and they're thinking about having another bidding process yet when it comes to the railway.
I don't think the president is having cold feet. Look, as a president, Stanton, you don't make hasty decisions, especially when it comes to one that will have a longitude, long-lasting effect on the people. As we speak, we still have a remaining contractual terms for ArcelorMittal that runs up to 2030. Probing into that contractual terms or trying to make any arbitrary adjustment to that term could cost the country some things. Now, I don't know to what extent has ArcelorMittal already given into accepting whatever the negotiation on the table is. So I will be looking forward to hearing some of the outcomes that come from the meeting. But just thinking off my feet, the president needs to advance into this with cautions, because you see, he has his advisors. If I was his economic advisors, I would be reviewing the pros and cons of both contracts and all of the risks that are coming to it. And how does it impact the lives of our people, particularly Liberian people, because these two businesses, they are in it for profit making. They're not coming to help to want to improve the lives of Liberians. No, their primary objective is how much money can we get from operating this rail system and getting our ores out of the country as soon as possible for a less possible cost. Now, the president's interest in the contract we signed with him is that he has, as a president, to protect the welfare and well-being of Liberian people. So I think this is what the president is doing. And I'm not in his cabinet, I'm not in his office. I hope he's working with people who are giving the best information possible for him to make a decision that will not affect worstly Liberian people.
You are already in the United States because your LDC is good, your internet is good, and we can hear the young man in the back. So we believe that, yes, you're home. All right, but let me move on to ask you this real quick before we bring in Dr. Beauplaire and the rest of the team. The ArcelorMittal thing, right? It's just not yesterday, though, Paul. President Walker was vice president. He was the president of the Senate when this thing went through.
But his signature was not on the contract.
No, but let me finish now. I beg to finish. And I think he understands this more than his advisors. He understands this more than Modi Kamara. He understands this more than Osajoni. He was in the room. He knows this.
Stand on the terms and conditions of the contract are changing.
I beg to finish. Can I finish?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you. He understands this better than anybody else that's serving as advisor today. The terms and conditions, he have read over it over and over. It been 1 year, January, February, March, April, May, 5 months, 17 months in government. How long you want to give President Walker to make this decision? And what we are hearing, this will roll up again for another 3 years because of the fight between ArcelorMittal and that of HPX. So if you say the president needs more time, we are in the 2nd year. What more can you ask for? How many more years can this president ask for? If nobody in our room know about ArcelorMittal deal, the best person to know this thing would be Joseph Yema Boakai.
Well, Senator, let me just finish my few points. Listen, the vice president is not a signature to the MDA. If you look in that contract, you're going to see the signature of the finance minister and the president of the Republic of Liberia at the time. That was President Ellen Sully Johnson, or Johnson Sully, whatever the right name is. Now, for the terms and conditions of the contract.
Don't do that to me, I beg you, man. The man said as president for the Senate.
Let me finish my point now.
No. We're not letting you finish yet. Stop that tabata. He was president of the Senate. The document right on
it doesn't matter. He's not on the committee. He was not on the committee. Let me finish now. It does
matter. He read the document. He followed through with the document. Don't give us the sideway as if to say
you are trying to put something. You are trying to put something on the foot of the president that really shouldn't be. And let me tell you why.
No, we are not saying that he didn't sign it. He didn't sign it. We know. But the fact remains is that he remained the president of the Senate. He reviewed this document. He took a copy home. He knows about this deal well, better than the current advisors he had.
So the president of the Senate is briefed on issues of the
no, they received copy of the document. They even brief. They received copies.
He is not on any committees. He was not on the committee.
No, he received copies of all these documents, Paul. Don't do that, man. Paul, is that how you want to go to the Senate? Seriously?
No, listen, I want to go to the Senate with being objective. And if
no, you're not. You're not being objective.
But you are
the man is the president of the Senate, Paul.
But Senator,
you received these documents.
Senator, may I just respond? You want me to respond the way you want me to
respond? He presided over those concessions. How can you say he was not briefed? How can you say it's signature, Paul? People are laughing at you.
So let me come back. Let me come back to my statement.
The concession, Paul.
Let me come back to the statement I made. Let me come back to the statement. The president of the Senate is not on any major committee in the Senate. The Senate has its functions that are, conducted by committees. The committees brief the president of the Senate, and where there is a tie, the president breaks that tie. That is the function of the president of the Senate.
No, you are wrong.
Now, when it comes to signatures,
somebody call Amara Cornet. Let Amara help Paul. You are wrong.
When it comes to the signing of contracts, the two people in our country who have the pen are the president and the minister of finance. Joseph Boakai was not the president at the time when this ArcelorMittal contract was signed. Now, this is the thing. There are terms and conditions of the ArcelorMittal contract that was signed in 2007. Those terms and conditions are changing. The president needs time to be able to actually sit to understand what implication will befall him if he goes to sign any additional contract where there is already an existing contract with ArcelorMittal. If I was the president, I would tell you until 2030, I am not signing anything that comes to do with this contract, because there's already an agreement that is going, and we're going to respect that.
Thank you, Paul.
Here's the thing.
Let's move on. We'll come back to you. Let's move on. I beg you, no, Uncle Sam. Let's get everybody the due time, Uncle Sam. I beg you. Fubi Henry, let's hear you, please.
Yeah, so firstly, my point is the president signed an executive order, and nobody from his government should disrespect that executive order. That's the first point. So if the president, it's not about Ivanhoe Atlantic. It's about the executive order in the first place, establishing the independence usage, the multi-user railroad, and having an independent body to regulate it. That has to go into force. And if you want a serious discussion to happen, the president cannot say something today, then tomorrow you have his officials that work under him at his will and pleasure, doing take a 360-degree turn on his decision. That should not be happening anywhere, and no serious government will allow that to happen. So I think that the first place the president needs to stem his authority to ensure that you guys have already signed it. Forget about HPX, whether they even carry their contract for ratification to the legislature. Just ensure that the independent, the multi-user railroad executive order is in force. You have an independent body regulating it, and ArcelorMittal has to fall in line. ArcelorMittal, I think that the amendment done in 2007, we took that exclusivity from Arcelor, so they cannot be holding on. So if you're in government, you're trying to play these under the carpet or under the table, that should not be accepted by the president. And the president needs to stem the authority to that to show that when he says he's reneging and he's trying to take a slow pace, it has an effect on everybody, and that's why the content of the letter you read yesterday, you saw it. You made gentleman agreement. You have written commitment. You have verbal agreement with us, and at the end of the day, all of these commitments that you've made, none of them happening, even with timelines given, simply because those that are working at your way and pleasure are not doing what you said and what you put on paper. So that thing for me is a no-no.
Thank you very much. Let's hear from Glennie. Glennie, welcome to the show.
Hello, thank you. Hello, everybody. Hi, Doc. Good to see you. I mean, we talked about this yesterday. The new development is that there was a meeting held today. Like I said yesterday, the story is still unfolding. I think HPX, they fall in line with what the Executive Order 136 said. But that does not mean that the Liberian government could not have changed their mind subsequently. And like I said yesterday, if the president promised them to say yes, well, he said it is his word. He said in a letter they mentioned that there were communications within the president where he verbally said that there would be a multi-user railroad. So until we get to that point where there's proof to say yes, and Joseph Boyka can come and address, or his responsible spokesperson can address this issue, there's really nothing else to be said, because this is just hearsay. You have the executive order, you have the letter that was written, you have the response to the letter. So what are we talking about? What can we say clear cut that the president said to them that you're going to be a part? And you talk about bidding. I think if they even go to the bidding process, that should be it. Find other companies who want to be a part, make a list of companies, and then it means that the president is not trying to enforce his executive order, and let's see, may the best bidder win. I think that's it, until the government comes and say, no, the president didn't say this, or he didn't promise anybody. The executive, just like we said yesterday, we talked about this. The executive order, those are, I mean, we have a lawyer here. Executive order are not law, that directive from the president. We will hope that people will follow the president's directive. But if the information was not transferable to the team who was really making the decision, what can you say? And I want to agree with, even though Stanton disagree with Paul, I want to agree with Paul that President Boyka now was VP, but anyone on the document right now said somebody can say you signed paper 10 years ago. If you can validate that my signature was there, then I can't own that. So I think this is just unfolding because international partners are also involved in this deal. So it's not something that, I don't think it's something they want to temper with, especially when they also have sanction issues that have been aligned with this company before.
Thank you, Glendy. Thank you very much. I want to bring it back to Boblet.
Stanton, at this point, it doesn't matter whether the president, then vice president, signed or didn't sign. That's totally irrelevant. What is important is where we are and how do we find a way forward. I said last night that if we had to do this again, I would have rather not have the president so involved and all these other persons who's supposed to be representing the government get us to this place. It seemed like a place of confusion, misunderstanding, and contention. That said, it's time to move forward. And I think the way forward, for me, from my perspective, is that we have rail that others can use. You can own something, but people can have access to it. And then the National Rail Authority can give oversight so that the public interest is protected. Well, private investors are private investors. They put their money into something hoping for a return. They can do that, and we can still protect the public interest and give access so that we create movement and accentuate, socioeconomic development. I think you can do both. So at this point, I hope that's the way forward, that they're going to look to allow investors to invest, but at the same time give access so that it will be more than just the company carrying the iron ore, but it will be people moving from place to place so that they can do their business.
Thank you very much, Dr. Boblet. Councillor?
Yeah, thank you, Stanton. Let me say good evening to all of you. Well, for me, I'm more concerned about what the contract between the government of Liberia and ArcelorMittal says pertaining to the usage of the railroad. Because in as much as I support the coming in of HPX, I don't think that we should do anything outside of the law. So whatever we are doing, we must do it in the ambit of the law. So if I heard Fubi talk about 2002, I think 2007, the contract was reviewed and probably restated, and the portion, the exclusivity on the usage of the railroad was taken from Metal Steel, ArcelorMittal. If that is the case, then I don't think we have much of a problem, because if Metal does not have the exclusive authority to operate the rail, then the government has the right to open it up and give it to whoever they want to give it to. But if Metal is standing as strong as they are now, it means that there may be something in that contract that gives Metal some boom, to chew, for which up to now, I think that contract came out early 2023. Yes, early 2023. They started the negotiation on that contract. And up to now, we've gone 2 years and nothing. So there may be something that is legal, that Metal is hanging on, for which it has the government hand to be tied. But if there's nothing legal, if it is just maybe a political decision, then it's easy to handle, because I support HPX coming in. I support that because they're coming in with investment. Imagine they're going to build a rail from Guinea to Liberia. So, and then use the one that we have. And then there will be people who will be employed, and jobs will come in the country. We talk about $5 billion investment in the long range or short range plan. So I'm more concerned about the contract between the government of Liberia and Metal, because why Metal will be so strong, why Metal will be almost like an obstacle. There has to be something. There's something that we don't know that we need to find out, to really get our hands on, to look and see where the problem is, because it doesn't add up. Between you and all of us here, it doesn't add up at all that Metal for 2 years just to give just a decision to be made as to who will operate the rail cannot be made. It cannot be reached. People are bypassing it. There is something more than what you and myself know. So let's look at the legal side of the contract and let's see whether there's something there, and let's stay in the ambit of the law in whatever we do to give whatever agreement to HPX. Thank you.
Councillor, thank you. Uncle Sam?
Look, here is the issue. HPX made a commitment to the government of Liberia that they will build the Liberty Corridor for $5 billion. The issues in Guinea, the Guinean government is committed to using a Guinean railroad from the Semindu area, which is near the border with Liberia, straight to a new port, right? So what experts are saying is, number one, HPX does not have $5 billion. HPX has not done any feasibility study. They're claiming they can do it for $5 million. For a $5 billion project, you need hundreds of millions of dollars to do a feasibility study. The other issue that experts are saying is that HPX has mined some ore that they want to use. And after they mine that, they're going to just basically go away. So what the experts are basically telling the government of Liberia is, look, have a there's nothing wrong. In fact, it's good governance and good international practice to have a multi-user railroad with a national rail authority. But you should get a clear commitment from HPX that they will begin the processes to build the Liberty Corridor. That's what the situation is. In the situation with Metal, I'm not freaking for Metal. Metal has been in that place for 20 years. The people, they don't have houses for the employees. A lot of the people live in Ganta and they commute to Yekepa. If you look at the housing condition, social and economic conditions of Liberians in Yekepa, is very, very horrible. The Indians are low-cost miners. They are not like the Europeans where they have like a country club atmosphere with a clubhouse and all of that. So Liberia is between a rock and a very hard place. The best thing for Liberia to do, insist upon a multi-user railroad, but in dealing with HPX, they have to say to HPX, let's make sure that whatever was announced when Joe Boyka and Mr. Robert Gomedi came to Liberia and announced this Liberty Corridor, let HPX prove that they can build a Liberty Corridor. Secondly, and most importantly, HPX has been using its supposed ties with the US government. There is something the Americans have been funding to counter Chinese influence, which was used by the US Embassy in Liberia to threaten the Liberian government, and some people were even exposed to sanctions. But the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, when the new Trump administration came in, found out that HPX and the US Embassy were engaged in a scam using this countering Chinese influence. They said there is no US national security interest involved, there's no US economic interest involved, and it's strictly a private financial interest, despite the fact that Donald Trump's son-in-law recently said about the multi-user railroad. But Liberia's interest should come first. Since America first, Liberia's interest is the building of the Liberty Corridor to create jobs, providing multi-user access, but to ensure that HPX abides by its commitment to build the Liberty Corridor. And that's the point I wanted to make.
Uncle Sam, thank you very much for bringing our brother from Deadeye, Patrick.
Thank you, CEO. I think, I followed the conversation yesterday. I find it very interesting. But CEO and all of us, I like to support the idea of Mr. Sam Jackson. And America says America first. So we too, at this time, we say Liberia first. Traore in Burkina Faso is saying Burkina Faso first. If we don't prioritize our own, there will be a problem. CEO, we have to be very clear. Meta Steel has defaulted on many of its commitments. I know how many of you live Yekepa. I lived Yekepa before. Send the talk over the promise to revamp that place. Yekepa used to be called Small America. But under the wise of Meta Steel, it's a dump site. Our people are living in tents. The entire area that used to be very unique for staff, senior staff, the place has turned to bush. Right here in Buchanan in the loop, Sako 1, Sako 2. Nothing. And then they are fronting about having monopoly over the usage of the rail. They should be joking. I think what this president needs to do is to do a comprehensive audit of all concessions in this country so that you can have the evidence in making sound and informed decisions. People do it in other countries. You have operated here. Many of these companies, they understate their revenue. Nobody checks beyond that. Oh, we made 100 million annually. Look at the other gold mine that is in a Grand Cape country. We made 200 million. So people are not checking. So what they report and what we believe. So for me, I think it's a good thing that the government rethink its decision, but waiting to say we should give the president time is a waste of time also. But this time, the government should be in the know that this thing is not working right, that people who have been operating this rail, they have not really lived up by their commitments in terms of their corporate social responsibility, in terms of the increment in job creation, in terms of refurbishing those damaged infrastructure left behind by LAMCO or whatsoever. They are not doing that. And then we see another competition. When HPX can, there will be competition. The same way Lusa was selling SIM card for $65 when sell Conking and Commune. At the end of the day, today Liberians are benefiting. For me, we want competition. We want as many companies to come. And when there is competition, I don't think one person will have monopoly over such a thing. So I think in order to do this, the government needs to rethink its decision to have something to inform its decision on what to do.
Thank you very much, Vendetta Patrick. I'm going to make my point. Sorry that Paul left. You know, this is not fair. For us to sit on this show, and we believe that because the signature is President Bwaka's signature is not on the document when he was serving as vice president. We all know that he wouldn't have signed the document because Madam said he was the president. Nobody's saying that President Bwaka's signature was on document. But as a president of the Senate, these documents go to you. Some of the concession, the president presided. The vice president presided in the absence of what he feel like. Right now, Jeremiah Kuhn can tell Yombly and say, no, I'm going to preside today. Yombly will go and sit down. Right, Uncle Sam? He's the president of the Senate.
Absolutely.
So there's no way for us to excuse President Bwaka and say, since 2005, Meta hit Liberia, Dr. Richardson. Guess what happened? Vice President Joseph Bwaka didn't know anything about that. The vice president, for 12 years, he operated with Metal Steel. He did. For 12 years. Let's stop this joke. That's not Johnny going to advise President Bwaka today as the economic advisor to the president. What's that Johnny know about Metal Steel? No, that Modi Kamara. The president was in the vice president was in the room with Madam Salih. 25 years. This is on President Bwaka. He should make up his mind. So if Paul tells me, say, well, he didn't sign the document and he wasn't there. I'm talking about he signed document. Yeah, no. Who you can tell when Madam say that president will be the vice president signing? No, it's a trivial issue. But to know about Meta, see President Bwaka know very well. He know everything about Meta. Look at it. Look at what the people are saying. They are saying that, listen, you promise us, we got document. You give us verbal assurances. They said it, HPX. Folks, like Vendetta Patrick said, ArcelorMittal was a bad deal. But you know why? Toto want to buy but no hand. Can Liberia do it with ArcelorMittal today? What the next company coming? The government depends on that ArcelorMittal for its revenue generation. We know that. The government want that money. HPX came and said, we'll give you $5 billion. We ain't even see the first $1 yet. Since the president took over, he met the people. But why the president so slow? We are about to go to year number 3. Do you think we're going to get this done? No. You want to put it on Bali Kamara? I disagree. You want to put it on Jeff Biblo? I disagree. You want to put it on Sajoni? I disagree. You want to put it on Tafana? He wasn't in the country. The Justice Minister Oswald Twelve was in the country. Oh, no. You put it on Sylvester Grisby? I disagree. It's on President Bwaka. I mean, people may not like this, but I'm saying that President Bwaka is slow to act, and this is killing the country. This is hurting the country. Another budget year went through to talk about recast. Another one is coming. The person will give $5 billion. The president's still wasting time. Now they realize. So here's my question. Man, anybody can answer because we got to move to the next conversation. Yeah. None of these guys ever asked question when the people came and said, we'll give you $5 billion. You know what happened? When the people said they will give you $5 billion, we saw their handshake, 3-way handshake. They were all smart. Up to now, no $5 billion. No $5 billion. I mean, my people, this is trouble. This is not a joke. That was the $5 billion smart right there. But no $5 billion. Nothing. You got 2 groups fighting in the executive marshal, like we said yesterday. Everybody want an interest. Some is Steve Quah, you know, he will used to work for ArcelorMittal. He wanted ArcelorMittal to have full control. Because after Joseph Yima Boakai, he's going to go back to work for ArcelorMittal. He was there till Joseph Yima Boakai took over. He was the chief of staff to the vice president, Joseph Yima Boakai. After the election, he came back. So now he's working in the executive mansion. When Joseph Yima Boakai leave, he went back to ArcelorMittal. So he got to protect his interests. Can't just stop playing yet, man. Let's tell the people the true story. Graceful for HPX. Graceful got to protect his interests. I mean, we can go down the line. The interests of Liberia or Dr. Bopla, you always say, they are not putting Liberia interest first. They are putting the personal interest first. And therefore, the president cannot make the decision as a president. You should be responsible. Say, yes, I look at everything for 17 months. This is my decision. But I guarantee you, this ain't going to go again down in the book, because you know what? Joseph Boakai will go to bed tonight and we'll move to another story tomorrow. And we'll move to another story tomorrow. That's why the country having problem. That's why under this government, we are having some serious issues, serious problem. Everything is in stagnation because the president is in stagnation. And that's what I have to say. I mean, I'm sorry, but that's the fact. Look around. What was the new project? And thank God we're going to our next topic. What's the new project under this government that you can tell us? What's new? So the new fight in the House now, that Jawea project, no, the Unity Party project. What is Joseph Yima Boakai project? What's the new project that Richardson? Let's get into it. We're running, we got 23 minutes left. That Richardson, what's the new project? Or Data, you want to unmute yourself, you went off. Unmute yourself, please. What's the new project that you have heard of?
Stella, you said we should answer a question. Then you don't, you want to answer it?
Okay, go ahead, then we're bringing Dr. Richardson.
Thank you. So the only answer I have for you is to say the same thing that I said, that there's something in that contract or something behind the scenes that we all don't know. That is the reason why it is tough for decisions to be made. Simple. There's no way that a company will come and stand up in front of government and show chest, show and stretch arm and big chest and store everything for 2 years. You think that there's nothing behind the scene, that there's something that you and I don't know. So the small information that you and I have, the what we'll talk about on the show and in our little corners and stuff. But there is something that Mittal Steel is holding on to. People in the government know it. And like you said, President Boakai was vice president. He should have knowledge about the contract, yes, because he signed on the ratification document. It's true. Every law will be sent to the House. They will send 31 copies, 30 for the senators, 1 for the vice president. In fact, 32, 1 for the secretary of Senate. So it's normal. But you talk about 20 years ago, probably the women have forgotten. I'm 81 years old now. So you gotta understand, maybe you have forgotten some of those things. But again, like I said, and I'll come back, there is something somewhere that causing Mittal Steel to stand up the way he's standing up. And until we can get to that, we may not have a resolution to the problem. That's my say.
Well, thank you very much. Let's run straight into this new project thing. A lot of stuff on the feed there. Jawea project, the Unity Party People project. What's the new project have you seen? 17 months in this government from President Joseph Yima Boakai Unity Party, Dr. Richardson, if you care to speak to it.
I'm sure the president and supporters of the president can say that he has many projects, but I'm thinking about something robust, something different, something that will, add to the country's value. And I guess that's what I'm thinking about. Maybe a robust educational plan, a robust healthcare plan, or even a robust change in the budget, like we're talking about earlier. And that's what I'm looking for. But I'm sure people can say, he's doing something. But I hope that is not something consistent with what other previous presidents have done. So that's what I have to say. Glendy, you want to go?
So I think for me, why is that we may want a direct project for the government to undertake, I understand that government is continuity. So the why it is that maybe projects that President Weah did not get to complete, his government did not get to complete. If President Borga is able to complete that, that's a good thing. Should he also look at issues? I mean, the rest agenda, there were things they promised, so they should be able to work on some of those projects and things that they promised the Liberian people. I think people have a right to ask what is one project that they're doing, but they're doing so many things right now. Even just hearing that people have had light consistently for a week or so, that's an amazing thing. That's something that 2 other governments had challenges with doing. People take pictures, they're showing there's light in town. Their pictures. I follow the public work ministers, the ministry's page, and I see some of the progress they're making with the roads. Now, when the rainy season comes, we'll test that. But I think that they've started and they're continuing some of the projects that have been in line. So for right now, I'm not going to be critical on what one project or what project that they're doing, but the fact that they're continuing, they're not just leaving that one to die down and start something new. Let's see how far that's gonna get. So I think so far the people got light in Liberia. That's a good thing for me.
Thank you very much, my sister Glendy. Fubi, what's new project year? 17 months in this government that the Unity Party government can boast of. What are some of the new money projects? I say new money in context because the president, let me just lay this out and anyone can talk. The president did so many traveling in his first year. China, Indonesia, all over. Are we seeing anything coming back from those projects? The $3 billion from China, Atlanta, Texas, all over. What are the investment reward that we are seeing today? Or when will these project comes up? So people are saying, well, CDC make a Unity Party. Are you seeing any new project under your Unity Party government?
Yeah, so I will also take the same line with says Glendy. Government is continuity. So the issue of even owning projects for me, I don't buy that, because at the end of the day, you work in government pay your salary or taxes. So you don't own a project. So whatever time that you spend there, whatever negotiation that you made that you couldn't accomplish while you were there, is not your project, it's the country's project. So if a new government takes over and a new government sees those projects and start to implement them, we commend the government for that, because the idea in Liberia that when you come, whatever your predecessor did, you abandon them and try to start a new thing. At the end of the day, the country not making any serious progress. So we need to see some of those, continuous progress being made, and especially with the issue of the roads. A lot of the roads that were negotiated before, and even there are some new roads project that the public work took up with our road fund. The issue in Matadi, I'm following other counties. I've seen the massive, improvement on the road. That's something that we should commend. The issue of, the electricity. People always, commending the new MD. Even with the WIA administration, during the rainy season, we had relatively stable current. So we hope that it would not just be a rainy season current. We want to see a consistent throughout with the rain and the dry season. Then we know that there's a massive progress being made. The issue of my point I've always pushed to the different governments, we must focus on the private sector, building the private sector, and start being heavily reliant on government until a Liberian government can take up and engage the private sector to move with full force. All the other projects will just be, most of them, a waste of time, because at the end of the day, people will tell you that a road will eat, that this other one will eat. At the end of the day, it still boils down to the food in the homes. People say, oh, the government, the GDP grew by this percent. Is that GDP growing in the part at the home? Is that GDP growing with the children going to school on time? Is that GDP growing with the people paying their hospital bills and not knocking on somebody's door to beg for help? Is that GDP impacting those little things? Transportation, moving from one point to another. So that there where, for me, that I said that there where the GDP growth is, not just on, today GDP grew by 3% so. It has no impact as long as The ordinary man cannot find food to eat. The ordinary man cannot pay children's school fees. The ordinary man cannot, pay house rent. They gotta be knocking on somebody's door. So government should focus on the private sector, the agriculture sector. Our national budget has never been reflective of those sectors. And they rely on foreign partners and donors to support those sectors, while the national budget is heavily paying salaries to lawmakers and top government officials. At the end of the day, nothing seems to be happening. So I think they're redirecting our energy. I think what I expect from the government. Thank you.
So the bottom line is there's no new project right now. The continuity of the old project. Dr. Beauplan, the same question.
For me, it's not new projects, but it's new progress. I think that's what we ought to be looking at. Are we making progress? Is it measurable? Is it appreciable? And is it helping to move us forward? So the key is not new projects, but new progress. But if we were to go in the direction that we should ask the question, CEO, there's so many opportunity for new projects. And yes, one. So we're here having plenty of conversation about the railway, right? And first B2, ArcelorMittal, and HPX. Next door, the Guineans are building the railway. Why are we so quick to always look overseas for people to do stuff? They're qualified Liberians. Why don't we draw people in so the Liberians can be leading some of the initiatives? So there's plenty of opportunity for new projects. But I think we ought to pay more attention to new progress. And I'll say this finally. We shouldn't be afraid to redirect the way we measure results and outcomes. And that's what I mean. So the president has a unique arrest agenda, agriculture. But when you read the agenda closely and put your finger on something, we don't pinpoint the progress that we hope to make in a specific period of time. For example, if you say in the next 4 years, we will strive to make 3 or 4 of our counties self-sufficient in rice production. So think about that. That would be 20% of Liberia self-sufficient in rice production, our staple. You do that another 3 years, another 3 years, another 3 years, this whole nation will be self-sufficient in rice production. Do you notice that government after government will get planned, we just talk agriculture, we make speeches, we talk about how we're doing things to help the agriculture sector, but we are still very dependent on imports in the agricultural sector. So we need to pigeonhole and put some healthy pressure on ourselves as the government and people and say this is what we want to do in this period of time. Same thing with running water. Did anybody here the plan for running water in counties? Clean right in my Gibi. There is no plan to give running water. So everybody will be here, bring your own water. How are we developing our country if we're not taking the things that are most important, the infrastructure that invites investment and lower production costs, like clean drinking water, running water? If we're not doing that, that put pressure on ourselves. Let's say in the next 3 years, that 4 counties will have running water throughout the county, clean drinking water. Aha. Then we can point to it and say, look what we did. So you give us more time, we'll do more. But we don't do that. We do generality. We need to stop being a generalist government. We need to be a specialist government so we can point to progress that we make in certain periods of time.
Do you think the government will move forward? We are in the second year, Dr. Beauplan, of this government. You say we should champion new progress. Are you saying new progress, new direction here? You gave example of Guinea building a brand new $18 billion system, railway system. We are still fighting between ArcelorMittal and HPX. I mean, what is missing? Let me give you another 30 seconds, Dr. Beauplan, on that new progress.
On which one? The same railway project?
The general conversation about this government new project that she's carrying on right now.
Okay. So again, plenty of opportunities for a new project. and we need to be specific, not just general. We shouldn't just keep saying we improve education in the country. Specify. So you can narrow it down. You can say in the next 3 years, we will have vocational tech in all of the counties, at least 2 or 3, where people can learn all of those basic skills that we need to build a country, from masonry to everything else, like the Job Corps type version that you have in the USA. We can say something so simple. We can say that in the next 2 years, every county will have a magnet school at the elementary level, at the junior high level, and at the high school level, where gifted and talented students can congregate and excel. Okay, so think about it. These are simple things, and the money compared to what we spend on other things is nothing. But set goals so you can measure it. So if all 15 counties have at least a first-class magnet school up to American standard, first-class magnet school at the elementary level, at the junior high level, at the high school level, that can attract the bright and the best in the counties, we would have something to point to and show and be able to measure the results. And by the way, for those who think, oh, this is Liberia, we can't do it up to American style, you're wrong. I went to Cara High, and I think Fadela Patrick did too. Cara High was run like an American school on a grass field. Every single thing that I saw in the school in America, I saw in Cara High. So it can be done. It takes the will, it takes the commitment, and it takes a deep sense of sacrifice. So we put the money where it belongs, and we see that.
And I think that's our problem. Uncle Sam, let's hear you. Uncle Sam, is there any new project 17 months in this government that you can talk to us on?
So I have a whole different idea of what progress looks like and what project look like. Okay, because I spent a lot of my time out of Liberia and living in other African countries. So when you have stable electricity for 7 days and people celebrate, I can't. Okay, because stable electricity for 7 days does not mean there's been an improvement in the electricity access to more people. Doesn't mean that. When you pave a neighborhood road like GSA Road, or you pave a road like Matadi, and people in the government, they go and they start to celebrate. I mean, they make it seem. I detest that, because it says that we have blinders on. It says that we're not good enough. And my Ghanaian blood tells me that we deserve more. When everybody was building mud houses and bamboo houses and zinc houses in Yakutan, my mother was building a 7-bedroom house right in the middle of the ghetto, selling lapa. That's the direction I come from. See, clearly, there's been no major project with this new government. And it goes back to the previous government, where in economics, they call it the minimalist approach to development. Build a small road here, build a thing here. Dr. Brockler talked about water. Water. I saw today or yesterday that a pipe burst someplace. The pipe burst. So it means that if maybe 10, 20, 30,000 people will not have pipe-borne water. And when you don't have access to pipe-borne water, you know the kind of diseases that come along with that, the typhoid and other diseases, right? So here it is. We have an arrest agenda, and prior to that, we had a PAPD, and prior to that, we had something called the Agenda for Transformation. These are all aspirational plans. They are not, this is not a development agenda. A development agenda will tell you self-sufficiency in rice production. You will know your output of rice production today. And you will say in 3 to 5 years, we will increase the tonnage of rice production to so and so and so. You will say right now, 100,000 people have access to pipe-borne water. 5 years from now, you're going to have 3 million people have access to pipeline water. Electricity penetration right now is 34%. Only 34. That's 1 out of 3 people in Liberia have access to electricity. So your plan is you need to do, in 5 years, you need to have 60, 70% penetration. And then you need to find the resources. Public-private partnerships, that's the way you build a country. Liberian government should be nowhere near electricity production. Liberian government should be nowhere near water production. Liberian government should be nowhere near a lot of the things that we do. It is the private sector and the ingenuity of the private sector that will catalyze, raise the resources, and build a country. Right now, Liberia is like a socialist country. Government owns the parastatals to provide services, and there is no plan to privatize either the management or the ownership of the major sources of production like electricity and water. That's where we are, Stanton. That's where we are. So the fact that there is nothing new today, it is not just an indictment of the Joseph Boyka administration. It is an indictment of who we are as a people. Because if people get the leadership it deserves, if Liberians were demanding, if Liberians were electing people, visionary leaders, not only the presidency, but in the House, they were electing leaders that were technocrats who had outside international experience or local experience, who could come and bring that to bear and develop the country, we will be making progress. But the fact that we will take people from mud houses with limited education or no education and put them in leadership ability, where they never ran a household, the first brand new car they ever had was given to them by the Liberian government. The first time they bought gas, they used government tax money, and that is the problem that we have.
Officer, thank you. I think we have a lot of big problem here, and listen, to each his own. If you have seen any new development, any new project under this government, please let us know. You cannot talk about the LDC because the LDC issue is not new. I mean, we give kudos to Mohammed Sharif. We hope that he does better. But what is happening here is that whenever it's raining, the rise of the system will produce more electricity. We're going to wait for a dry season to see his new plans. Let's talk about the roads. People say, well, the president is building all these roads. Ask them, are those roads that have been built, whether they are new money? No. It's all about governments are continuing with it. That's good. We agree. But there's no new money. But my big question, the president said, I have to travel. I have to look for money. Where's the $3 billion from China? Where is it? The president said, I have to go to Indonesia. Yes, indeed. What came back from Indonesia? The president have a whole forum in Dallas, in Atlanta. Where have they result? President Joseph Boyka said, I will limit my travel now because things are not easy. Yes, globally, things are not easy. But in every sector of the government, what's new? Are you feeling the new project? I mean, we said the same thing about Josh Manawea, and that's why we remove him. But are you feeling the new project here, my brother, Councilor Gu? What are some of the new projects that a unity partisan can tell anyone that, yes, we started this with nothing attached from the old government? So even if you want to run and say government is continuing with it, yes, it did, then just say it and say we'll finish everything President Joe, we are left in place before we start our new project. The $5 billion for HPX, we didn't get it yet. Dr. Richardson, the $3 billion from China, we didn't get it yet. Or the trip on private jets, they will all waste the trip probably, or we're going to wait. The next government will inherit it, maybe. But let's face it, man. I think our people have been lied to again. You gave them small light today. You push small bag of rice on the market, people are happy. You reduce by 10 cents, 2 cents the fuel prices according to the global market, people are happy. What government workers are carrying 50, 60,000 home and stealing. And the rise of corruption is so high, and the president is not doing anything. But let's hear you, my brother. Come to them and then we'll go to Vendetta Patrick.
Okay, so Stanton, maybe except for maybe the water supply that Mo Ali carried to Bapulu. I think that was something new, right? I think the Paul Kennedy. Yeah, I think that was something new, fresh. And, there's no continuity in that one because I didn't hear it from the past government. But I think every other thing that has been done is on the basis of the whole continuity. So like I said the other day, Stanton, when you come to power, the same thing happened to President Weah, CDC government. They came to power, first 6 months, 12 years. They started thinking about 2023, not thinking about delivering. They were thinking about winning election 2023 to go for 12 years. In the first 3 years, the government was done. From 2018 to 2020, to the by-election, to the midterm election, CDC was done. They could not recover from that loss. And that what led to them, being a one-term. The same thing happening again now. The people got in power. To invite 12 years again, 12 years. They are thinking about 2029 instead of governing. That has been our biggest problem in the past 6, 7, let's say 6 years on George. We are 7 years now, going to 8 years. That's why they cannot get anything new. Because so promises, I was one person who felt that George Weah played football. He would have brought all the football guys that he played with. They would have come and open academy here. They would have built a very new, a stadium. I mean, I had a hope. Really, I had a hope. I said we're happy. It never happened. Omen Burger had been in power in government for 42 years. He had his friends. He was vice president for 12 years. He used to travel, make connection. Yes, I didn't vote for him, but I show other people who voted for him thought the same, that there were a lot of connections that have been made in the 12 years, and they were going to bring results. We are not seeing it. So we're in a cycle, and because we have the same group of people who are able to manipulate the system to go to power, that's the reason why we are where we are. Because the people who want to go in to do the change, they will block you. You can't go there. You can't go close to power. So that's why, and we'll continue talking like this, Stanton. But there is nothing new for me, except for the water supply that Mo Ali and I thank him that he took to Bapulu County. That's the one that I know about. That is fresh, it's new.
Councillor, the pump not working.
Yes.
No water there.
The pump not working.
No water there, Councillor. I was there on Saturday. The pump not working, bro.
No, but a new project. The new project
will work. Let me bring in from there, Patrick. VP, you in Liberia, you feeling the pinch. Yeah, things are. People are talking yama in the corner, and this was happening during George Monowaya time, but people used to talk secretly and go beyond the ministers and directors and say, "I just can't wait for 2023. You will not be here." People are talking secretly. People are in the corner. They are backbiting. They are gossiping because of failed leadership. The administrator, they are. Look at MCSS. We can go and name them. President Bwaga. It's not making it happen. Talk to me, VP.
See, no matter what happens in this country, I will always be very proud to be a Liberian. Living in comfort in the West. Wake up one morning and say, you know why it's too much, I have to go back home. And when you ask the question about what is new that we haven't seen before, see, in as much as we place emphasis on the leaders, we are our own problems. Before, I'll give you an example. During the war, let me just give that. The people built well for us in one of those displaced camps because people were dying of diarrhea, something. And the paramount chief came and said nobody must drink from the hand pump because the people put medicine there. And anybody, especially pregnant women, they will not give birth again. That well was abandoned. Completely abandoned. Including some of we couldn't go around. Look, CEO, I used to blame the leaders that they are the problems. If you want to
start to blame the people.
Listen, if you want to, we have to continue. In as much we blame the leaders, we also contribute because we put them there. CEO, if you decide to standardize development now, some people, for them, their big achievement they want to see the president is to build market kitchen. We passed that level a long time. We should be talking about shopping mall. You know, like shopping center. But to the ordinary man, if you go build that thing, they say, what thing I'm going to do? I'm not able to rent store, can't build my market kitchen. If you see representatives build market hall, market kitchen, we criticize them in the eyes of these people, they are happy. But for me, I have not seen really new projects in terms of the standard that I want it to be. But per the Liberian standard, I can say there are some projects, new projects, in the Liberian context, not with the level of my reasoning. Now, for example, right now, there are street pavements in my GB. I think since 36 years, Kakata City has been like, I don't want to describe it. It does not even look like a city anyway, but I don't know why we give it a city status. So I went there a few weeks ago, having some meetings with some people, and I saw some level of pavements, street pavements. The bad thing about it is that the people are stealing the crosswalks. The same people, they are stealing the crosswalks. After almost 36 years, no street pavement. The people went there, at least for the first time, at least our street will be paved in Kakata. They started to steal the crosswalks. But CEO, I think we can do something good. And these are some recommendations we have given to this government. We are now in a digital age. I can guarantee you in the next 10 years, some people will be out of job. If you are not computer literate, or if you are not a friend of the digital age, can the government think about building a digital hub where we can enroll the first 5 people who are already unique in the sector? We gave them maybe 3 or 5 years. I can guarantee you the use of technology is a fast way to reduce poverty. Look at Singapore, for example. What do they have? That technology-based Singapore. Today, you come here, it's a problem. Another thing, CEO, I think we don't research before carry on development. Somebody wake up today and say, Chief, you got plenty of vote from the area, you got to do XYZ in that place. With no research. The government has not invested in research. In other areas, you live in the US. I had a time to do some volunteer work with CSIS, Center for Strategic and International Studies, one of the biggest US think tank institutions. How many think tank institutions do we have in this country? That government is funding to do research and bring out the fundings to give it to this government that this is what we have seen. For example, look at the issue of drugs. Ellington, drugs were killing people. Weirton, drugs killing people. JMB time is getting worse. We need a research to be done to really diagnose and identify the problem. And then the government can come up with programs to help address these issues. You can build roads, you can do everything, but as long as it's not done in the right direction, CEO, I will not lie to you, it will be a problem, like the case I just gave you in my GB, the people sitting their own development. How do we develop the country?
Thank you. Thank you very much, Brother Patrick. Thank you very much, St. Patrick. We really want to say again while we close on the show, Today, people saying, Stanton, why the show go to 8 o'clock? I had a long conversation. Somebody on the show called me today, and they were complaining that why the show going all the way to 8 o'clock. And I was like, okay, if you want to leave, you can leave, but we'll try to close the show at 7. That will be 11 p.m. Liberia time, 7 p.m. our time. So we're going to close the show on whatsoever on your mind. Let's say for me, I would say my own today. I really appreciate every one of you. It's been a long ride, up and down, up and down, up and down. With a spoon talk since we started this program, some good, some bad, some ugly. Everyone welcome to the spoon talk. Every political party, every individual come, we will all be respectful, and we have our disagreement. But above all, it's Liberia. The manner in which the government is proceeding, my friend, is wrong. It's selective suspension, and when the president have asked for audit report, investigation report, and recommendation from LCC, and they will give them to him, and the president is slow to act. That's a problem for our country. That's a problem. The MCSS, what more the president need to suspend James Momoa? That's a problem. I mean, we can go down the line. I don't know why people will just sit there and say, but Central let it be. So no. Have you asked Augustin Gafwa the report on Bill Margaret Jones when they falsified the document about painting the finance ministry? That's what on my mind. Why are we being selective? This is a problem. Is this government proceeding regularly? For now, I say no. Go and talk to people that will call us every day. In position, all opposition, not those cosmetic things people are doing. They're trying to make themselves pretty and they lie when they see people. They come on TV, they lie, but in the back, they're complaining. We are in trouble. 8 to 9 months to remove speaker, burn down the Capitol building. We are in trouble. There is no one new project except the one that our brother councilor talked about that is not working on a Mo Ali. And Mo Ali was trying to get the Cadre Relief and Church of Jesus Christ Little Distant project too. You didn't mention that, councilor. He was trying to see that other project. The people built a project and Mo Ali was trying to claim it. Those are embarrassment. Mo Ali ran on Facebook, he trying to take ownership of the people project. That's my brother. But we had to rebuke him. The one in Buffalo is not working. Paul Kennedy just came from that again. We got picture. But people go to the president and lie to the president. Everybody won't be somebody. Who is in control of the government? Who is in control of the government? Things not easy in the country. Somebody come in and say, Steno, you know that though. The people have not gotten the pay yet. I say, hey, today is the 6th, they will get paid. They say, well, Gafran said people will get paid from the 27th to the 28th, but people have not gotten the pay yet. I'm in the AFL, I don't get my pay yet. I say, you want to start that AFL story again? We said it before. I mean, what's going on? Gafran is confused. As Minister of Finance, he can't make it. No money. What to discuss Social Security? Somebody said I should win it. We'll discuss it tomorrow. Are you getting your pension? That's the question people are asking. How much is your pension? A lot of stuff happening, my people in the country. My expectation of Jose Yimabwaka, because I supported him. As vice president, I know him. I know the family. You know the story. But President Bwaka should be President Bwaka. He should take responsibility of his action. When the president leaves office, he should say, yes, with everything I heard, everything I saw, I signed on this project because it was good at the time for Liberia. Can President Bwaka say that? No, he can. President Bwaka is the delegation of duty. He's shifting assignment to Grisby. He's shifting assignment to Sajoni. He said, you're going to do it. If that thing mess up there, that's your business. No. This is a whole country the president is running. He must be on the forefront. He must take responsibility. And that which is discouraging for every one of us, that the president is scared to take ownership. I mean, that's the problem. What can you celebrate today in Liberia? What can you celebrate today, my friend? So for my closing, and we'll be back here again tomorrow by God's grace, I see nothing. 17 months in government, 16 months in government, for me, I see nothing. That's Zico that will push President Bwaka in. I've seen it. The president is tired. The president can leave Monrovia and go as far as bombing. Then they could follow him again. Liberian people problem is with the leadership. So the country problem today is President Bwaka. It's not Sylvester Grigsby. It's not any of his advisors. It's the president. Is the president thinking independently? Ask yourself. It's the president. The president has to transform himself inwardly. The president got to look at the issue and don't blame anybody. The president got to be the president of the Republic of Liberia and just not be Jose Yima Bwaka. And sometimes I wonder whether the president knows that he's in charge of the country. Things I have seen, I cannot reveal here. Things I have heard, I cannot say some of them. But I'm troubled because I beg you to support the president. We give it our all. Can the president redeem himself? Yes. Can Jose Yima Bwaka be president? Yes. Can he fight for Liberia? Yes. Does he have the strength to do so? I believe it. But why isn't he doing it? Why he got to go through Grigsby? What different people talking in his ear? Nothing new. Look at the Freeport project. People ready to celebrate my brother Sekou Dukle. He signed a big project with Morocco. That old project, my people. All right, that's old project. That's not new project. I see people running with it. Yeah, he signed a big project. Hey, the Freeport people don't. No, that Morocco thing, that old thing. It's not new. When the president took a trip to China, $3 billion. What is that project? That's the Jose Yima Bwaka project. Where is it? When he went to Indonesia, where is that project? That's the Jose Yima Bwaka project. Where is it? May God save our state. I will continue to speak truth to power. I will continue to say whether you like it, you don't like it, it's up to you. I don't need you to feed my family. God bless us all. I don't need you to work in the government. Thank God I retired early. But I will say to all of you, till you can fight, Liberia will never be redeemed. Till you can come together as a unit, as a people, to speak truth to power and stop collecting $10 a year, $5 a year, and another 6 year pass free and nothing. You still sleep on the ground, mosquito eat you. You still drink well water. That's not what you want. That the riches in, please take control of the show. I'm going to go to church and pray for every one of us here, especially I will pray for Paul Kennedy. Since he came back, he needs prayer. Glenn, since your brother came back from Liberia, he needs prayer. I'm really going to pray for him tonight. But I love you, Brother Paul. You have a good night, and we'll see you guys tomorrow as Dr. Richard said. Complete the rest of the show. To all of our friends, we say thank you. God bless you. Good night.
So let's continue with the closing, and I will just do my closing. When Dr. Bropler was saying, he was talking about developmental leader, when he talked about developmental plan and progress plan, what should we be measuring our progress? And he mentioned that in order to measure your progress, you gotta have a, like what we call over here in my line of work, a SMART plan. You have to have something that is specific or subjective to the population. If Mandela said, you can't just go say, oh, because I got a lot of voters in this area, so that means I should just put a project up. You have to know what the people want. So many times in our government and in our country, governments just build things. Somebody will say, I'm building a hospital. Somebody will say, I'm building a clinic. And there's no telling as to how they're going to run this clinic, how they're going to sustain it. There's no plan for it. You have to have a measurable something that you can measure to know, to have some data to measure your plan to see if you're succeeding. You have to have something that is achievable. It has to be a project that is achievable. You can't just, this is why sometimes when I go to Liberia, I think it's a graveyard for old cars, because there's all these cars that are all over the place broken down. It's not achievable in our country because you bring these cars in, there's nowhere to fix it. There's nowhere for good mechanic or to park these cars. So we have to have an achievable plan for development in our country. We have to have something that is have to be relevant to the country. When I talk about we're moving into technology age, a computer hub, so we can train our children to get caught up. That's what we call a developmental and a progress plan. You have to have it has to be time sensitive. We're not talking about, we're not riding carriage like the old age in 1847. We are in 2025. So our leader, who I want to say should be visionary, there's a difference when we talk about leadership between task-oriented people that they continue what government plan is, that continuated people. They continue. They don't have a legacy to say, I'm going to leave a legacy. Like Obama plan in this country, no matter what you say about it, what's a legacy? When we say the Monroe Doctrine, it was a legacy left by James Monroe. So all of these things are what we are talking about in terms of continuity versus who is a leader versus a manager. There's a difference between someone who's a leader. A leader just manages people. They manages project that from one government to another. They manage to focus on tasks, whereby a leader basically would be inspiring, innovative. Somebody who's a visionary, like Uncle saying, talk about. Yes, you can lead someone, but to me, I think you need to leave your contribution. You should contribute. You can't just come every day and say, oh, I was this person in this position for 12 years, for 15 years, for 30 years. So what did you do? What did you leave? What was your legacy? And that's what I ask all Liberians. Whatever you do, whether you're farming, be the best farmer. Whether you somebody who in the street, be the best at that. And that is, I think, part of our problem. And I enjoy how Vendetta Patrick sort of made a relationship between the leaders and the people that we serve in Liberia. So that's what I'm going to close at. Be a good leader and serve well. Kennedy, Paul Kennedy, you want to go?
Yeah, Paul, you have good internet, please. Me, I'm in Liberia. That's the only thing that now working. If you get close and the signal good, then you can come in. Please, I beg you, Chief. You see how your color looking is shining. Me, I'm in darkness.
Even in Liberia, my color was looking like that. What are you talking?
Oh, okay, sorry. Even though I joined the show late. But look, I think the counselor says something that we really need to look at. If you want to develop Liberia, forget about next election. You will be strict. You will improve lives. But the moment you start to think about the next election, just know that you are done. I wish to have a leader in my lifetime, and that leader has an agenda to pursue. Whether they go to election, you beat them or not, at least they have standardized the country, they have introduced new things to you, and they executed it very well. But if you start to think about the next election, you are done. Council, I agree with you 100%. 100%. Right now, as we speak, the reason why we are not seeing the kind of development is that everybody wants to run 2029. Everyone. I won't call names, but they are what you can tell. They want to run 2029. And in national development paradigm, when you begin to introduce an attitude of individualism, you must shine. Oh, my ministry is doing there. I'm doing there, as if it's your personal money. You're going nowhere. Look, we should be thinking about building the first children's hospital in our country, exclusively for children, because they are the most marginalized victims and everything, abuses, whatever. Can the government sit down that in 6 years, R, J, and B, I want to leave a legacy children's hospital for my grandchildren. Even if I'm not around, my grandchildren can go to that hospital. Maybe from 10 years down, 15 years down, Only that, if you are above there, you will not go. Children's Hospital. You can set up a think tank. They get multi-million-dollar companies around, philanthropic institutions. You just need to identify people that can raise that money. Some people can raise $10 million for you free. Maybe the government can and add in $5 million. You have, for the first time in our country, Children's Hospital. At least saying he is in his 80 years, that one could be a gift. It will complement his effort that grandfather left one of the best, Children's Hospital. Technology can reduce poverty. It reduces unemployment. Singapore, for example. Let us prioritize. Look at BWR sitting right there. The concept of BWR since 1929. That place you are being the MRT today in Africa. But look at the place. You see BWR as if that is a breeding ground for stupidity. I told people the other day, I said, we have not seen education yet. If you see educational environment, you will tell stupidity can voluntarily leave you and run away. So it can prepare you for something. So again, we always suggest to this government, we don't hate the government like many of you have perceived it to be. We only come here to discuss our problems. We're not promoting war, nothing. But we hope that policy leaders will listen to some of these recommendations. You have financial experts, you have lawyers, every one of us that on this platform, we come from unique backgrounds. So when we come here, we come with some pieces of advice for the government. But again, thank you so much. And I hope the LTA can improve this internet something. I don't know why. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for yielding back my time. He said the internet is... But Vandela, I'm wrong to you. I didn't come to visit you, even though I made some promises. But let me start with, really sending out a birthday.
He came to my house, Vandela. He came to my house.
Tonight is the birthday of my brother Samuel Doe Twe.
Oh wow!
Hey,
D12.
D12 and I go far. I just want to heartfelt, send him a congratulations on this new age, and wish him a more prosperous years to come. But tonight I will look at it differently. Instead of saying new projects, I will say the new developments that I experienced while in Liberia. I don't think government should be, measured by project specifics. I think because government don't make project plans, they make development plans. Right. So when you are judging them, you should be looking at them from a development perspective. What plans honor that development that they've started rolling out? So the government talked about the issue of roads, and I was able to run in my Land Cruiser 60 miles an hour from Broadview and slow down between 60 on the average to get to Bopolu City. That's development. When I left in November, I couldn't go 60 miles an hour for 1 hour. In fact, I took 1 hour and 45 minutes from Broadview to Bopolu City, and I calculated that I was going to do that to see whether the road was good. While it is still a dusty road, the road has been rehabilitated and compacted. They actually drilled a drainage on the water side, so when it rains, the rain drift down into the waters. So it is not the best roads in the country. I'm hoping that the government thinks about really putting asphalt on it to make it more durable. But for now, it is rehabilitated and it is maintained. And I know it because I drove there in the night, going to Bopolu and coming back from Bopolu, and it was not like the quota experience, but it was good as compared to the previous years. The government has also digitized all of the national procurement plans. Of course, development can be, from different perspectives. If you look now on PPCC website, that's ppcc.gov.lr, you will see all of the government procurements that have been processed and out on that plan, and you will see the bids, what bids that the government is supposed to be encountering, and what are those bids coming from. And this gentleman, Burgess Johnson, is very instrumental in making sure that is happening, so that Liberians are communicated to of what procurement plans the government is thinking about taking out. Look, there are a couple of challenges in the country, and I saw them, like the electricity, the LEC. When I got in the country, LEC was tripping every 20 minutes. Before I left, it became stable till the 1 week I left. If LEC left, it left only for 10, 15 minutes, it will come back. So in the inverse, when I got there, it was only lasting for 10, 15 minutes. Before I left, it was only going off for 10, 15 minutes. Now, what I heard was that they expanded to using the Transco LSG arrangement. They are taking intake from Cote d'Ivoire and everywhere. My only suggestion to government is that while that arrangement is being made now, they have to clamp down on power theft, because if they don't clamp down on power theft and government inabilities to pay their bills, will revert to the same scenario that we've been in before. Because you can't continue to use the people electricity from Cote d'Ivoire and the other places and don't want to pay the bills for it. Government enveloped on electricity is $450,000 a month. That's how much government of Liberia is using. And sometimes government don't pay that money until you go to 3 million, 4 million, 5 million. So my suggestion to government, if you want to continue to shine and help the LEC managing director to do well, you got to do two things. First of all, you got to be thinking now on an arrangement where you will get a new dam probability in place so that you can expand a new dam so that the dam is added to this process. You can't just continue to buy electricity from Dubai and back and forth. So those are the kind of developments I saw. There's a need for more, but to be objective. I'm not a Joseph Boakai person. I mean, I'm not a unity party person, but I speak to the issues.
Thank you, Paul. Glendy?
That are really not close, man. Almost 2 o'clock on my side.
Glendy, can you?
Hey, go ahead.
Okay.
But you're talking about time. I'm 2 hours ahead of you.
Thank
so
you,
Claude.
I'm
2 hours ahead.
My man, I beg you, but I'm come here, I beg you, man, but leave me, man.
Go ahead, go ahead.
Thank you, cause let me say, sometimes we don't like to speak on issue that we look like we're criticizing, right? Because I normally like to criticize people when I support them. Then people, because in Liberia, when you don't support anybody, you say anything, because you're against the person. But that's it. But again, sometimes you don't want to sit and allow some things just go by. So you have to give your own little piece of advice. So I hear people say, "Oh, you're criticizing. You can't talk about the good things." No, it's never good to talk about good things about government because they get complacent. You always pinpoint, you want them to do more. There's always an expectation that you want them to do more. So the little mistake they will make, you will cut it out so they can correct it to make things better. So it's not say, "Oh, we praise you, you're doing well. Yeah, the government," you relax now and say everything okay. No. So that's why you see people will come up and give their own little, criticism on issues that are going wrong. It's not that they're against the government. There are some people who really against it. They can be open. There are others who are objective. So I just want to say that the government it still has many years ahead if they can focus on governance and forget about this whole 2029 business and just relook at the plan, relook at the rest agenda, reassess the agenda and see where you've gone wrong in the short period of time. And then try to make amends, make the correction. They'll do better. Because in my mind is that all government have good plans for the people. But the people that are brought on board to implement the plan sometimes divert the plan to their personal, or aggrandizement. So that's why they will be slow in performing and on the governmental level, but very fast in growing individually. You will see somebody come to power today. He's minister. He was not minister before. He made him minister of public works. He got a big farm in 6 months. He has a very big house. The road, from the main street to his yard is paved. All in his yard paved. But then when you see the other roads around the country, that dusty road, people car hitching, then you wonder. So the country is slow in progress under that person, but his personal life is growing rapidly. That's the contradiction that we always have. And again, the people, it boils down to the people because the people don't understand when you come to them. When Paul Kennedy go to them and talk and put all the good plans, they say my friend Phoebe Henry said, "What you living here?" I thought we eat. They say, "What dry door sweet, or what you be eating before the door dry." You see it? So that the dry door sweet story got up to where we are today. Because people come and get all small little bunny and say, "Oh, yeah, be eating that bunny, you know, when the one wins, oh, yeah, that too. When they make me bunny, tomorrow when he wins, you will give me cow meat." My brother, when he wins, he giving you bad play. That's what happening. So I will urge my friends in the government who are the helm to think more about serving the people than what will happen in 2029. Pay attention now, do your work, go back on the drawing board. Like I said, I think the government made a lot of misstep on rule of law. Go back, reassess the agenda and see where you actually going wrong. Speak to yourself, and then come back and see where you can. You can make things right. And 2029, by that time, the people will decide based on your performance. So I think there are some good things that are going on, but there are some negatives that will always overshadow the good things because of the way the government will present itself, the way it's PR, in fact. Kennedy will even present itself. Somebody go to BPR for government, you come, you start making flower of people. What do you expect? You make the message combative. Once you make the message combative, forget it. And the guys are outside the opposition are ready to fight back. It's like a protester. The man say you won't protest. You say no, you're not protest. In fact, you post up to him. Forget that's what he wants. That's what he wants. That confrontation is what he wants. So when you give it to him, he succeeded. So do what you're supposed to do and forget about the criticism. Listen to the criticism. I'm not saying downplay. Listen to it. Do some correction. Go back, and you'll do well, and the country will benefit. So that's all I have to say tonight. Thank you for the time. God bless all of us. We hope that we'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you. Glendy, Uncle Sam, I know.
Okay, let me go. It's 2 hours ahead of you. Sis Glendy,
Can you give Uncle Sam your time permission?
That's fine.
Okay,
That's fine.
Uncle Sam, please go ahead.
Yeah, look, first of all, we had a good show tonight. Education is extremely important. We're talking about progress, and I just want to say quickly, that egg factory is not a Unity Party factory. Let's just be very clear about that. And it's not $26 million. It is not more than even $3 million, but we'll just leave it alone. Look, I want to give a shout out to some people. I want to recognize my very good young brother, Pilar Proud. He lives in Bern, Switzerland, and his daughter, Joella Banning Proud, graduated with a Bachelor of Science degree in medical services. So I just want to give a shout out to her. And then, of course, my other very good and close friend, Bernadine Allen Peabody, her dad, Burl Allen. So this is the death anniversary. Just want to recognize those people that, So that's all I have to say. And let God bless you, Phoebe. I told you there's a connection between you and myself. We talk about that. We are like family. I think it was unfair for somebody to attack you for what Richard Henrys did. And I can tell you very clearly that Richard Henrys was a very good man. Okay, but those people were the accidental victims of history. Those 13 people were executed. Okay, it happened in Ghana, if you can remember. 3 heads of state were executed in one day, and dozens of people were killed. So on that note, again, Joella Banning Proud, I'm very, very proud of you, and to my junior brother who's in Switzerland. I'm so glad, and let God bless you. And the sky is the limit in terms of education. God bless you. And thank you, Dr. Richardson. And thank you, Paul, for coming to visit me. You came to Yepi Town, sat in my living room.
Thank you, Uncle Sam.
So God bless you. Sis Glenny, thank you for Bioga Jr. I see you glowing. I don't know what's going on in your life, but it looks like something very good happening in your life. Let God bless you. Amen.
Thank you, Fubi. Thank you, Augustine. Have a wonderful night. Fubi, can you allow Glendy to just go and then you take us home? Thank you.
I'm gonna say not easy. Yeah. But anyway, it was a good show. I want to not be pessimistic about the government because we all want our government to succeed. I hear that, okay, there may not be an ID project that they're undertaking, but like we said, government is continuity. There are some things that the country is benefiting from within the last year that they weren't benefiting from before. We talk about water. That's something, it may not be 100%, but some people have not seen running water since 1980. And they've been able to see that. That's a plus. We talk about light. We all were here. We're talking about Monica Tan, talking about LEC. The other guy came acting, still talking about LEC, still talking about the hydro plant. We see now to some degree, light has been sustained for a little bit. Even if it's for 1 week, that's 1 week of light that Liberians did not have before that they have. We talk about one of the things we're talking about roads. We also former president. We have picture on the roads on the mudded road. Okay, why is that? The pictures and the roads, I'm interested in it because it helps the economy for people to move from point A to point B. So I follow Public Works the page religiously, and we see some of the things. We see some of the hotspot areas in Monrovia that now have roads that people can move on smoothly now. Whether it'll be able to sustain itself during the rainy season, that's left for the rainy season. We're already there, but that's something that the government has been able to do that we can be proud of. Another thing is we talk about the fact that previous government, with George Weah government, one of the things we may look at it as being very minute. People could not just sit and talk and condemn the president like that. And, you know, people, and we're all, I mean, yes, there's some degree, it's still happening with Unity Party people, they come after you for some, but I think there's a heightened awareness in people being able to condemn the president and say what they want with the president and not worry about somebody coming after them. We can't ignore that. People were afraid to speak. People could not talk, but that's something that's happening in the government. Last thing we see here now that there are a lot more community. Take, for example, the NEMA elections. Almost everybody what was involved in it, whether it was free and fair, whether they had political influence. But there are things that the government is doing that we don't expect it. I don't expect it to be 100%. But it would have been bad that if they would have come by now, the road would still be the same day George Weah left it. If they are come by now and there will still be no electricity, if they are come by now, there will still be no water. So to some degree, I want to give the government credit for what they're doing, because these things that Liberians are benefiting from now, we cannot ignore that these are some of the things they did not have before. So we want to see more, we want to see better, but I want to be on the side of where I'm giving them credit for what they've done, because one more Liberian is benefiting from some of the changes that the government has impacted so far. So thank you, Doc. It was good for us to see you today, and it's good to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. Fubi, you want to just take us home?
Yeah, and also I share the same note where it says related to the two or the same side. So government is continuity, and counting the 16 months plus, I can say for a fact that the UP government is better than CDC government, comparing the same 16 months plus in all aspects. And the issue about that we are project, we ain't got any project. Alabrempo paying for the 6 years he was there. And whatever negotiation he did on behalf of Liberia, there were Liberians that paid for that. And there were projects that came from the previous Unity Party government that he also benefited from. The airport, for example, the ministerial complex, he dedicated those projects. Even when they were in opposition, they condemned, especially the ministerial complex, to be built. But at the end of the day, who was the first to enjoy it? He. So we can't be running with this, that project road, vision road. You got no vision. It's about the country. The country pay you for the services, and now you are out of government. The country is still paying for yourself. They pay you, they're giving you security. So let's move from that issue about that vision road, this other person project. No, it is for the Liberian people, and we own it. And whoever will give you the opportunity and the privilege to lead, and after you leave office, when the next government takes over and start to implement, start from where you left, we should commend the government for doing that, because we hardly see that in many African countries. People think that they will only come and chart a new course and we shouldn't be doing that. We should pick up from where the other people left. If you have something new to add, you add and you move on. And on the issue of the Executive Order 136, I think the president should put his feet down hard. You don't say something and your lieutenant go the other way around. Let's even forget about HPX getting involved or whatever negotiation they're trying to rectify to get them to have access. We need multiple users for the railroad. It shouldn't be tied to one company, and that one company should not stand in the way of government to say that you cannot give it to somebody until after 5 years or 10. And on the educational sector, and we all said it, the Liberia has a far way to go. And we got all the Google examples outside. We know them. People travel, people go. Some of our government officials have their children in those different countries going to schools and benefiting from those various systems. But they are in government and they're having exactly 100% opposite of what they are benefiting from outside. So we need a holistic approach. And I petitioned the government 2016, to include vocational training in our grade schools, both public and private, from 6th grade, from 7th grade straight to 12th grade, so that when people graduate from high school, you got both academics and also technical skills that you can use. If you don't want to go to college, you can rely on that one and make life to build the private sector. Our private sector development is something that we should be pushing our government to do, because most of the government officials think that people should go and buy down to them every morning. Honorable, we have honorable, my children's school fee, honorable, no horse rent, honorable, and wife just deliver, pay by me top or help free her. But if you build a private sector, you will cut off most of those kind of stuff. And at the end of the day, people can be more independent and people can do something better. So we should all be urging our government to improve the private sector. That's how all better countries that are around the world are thriving. It's because they have good private sector. Then everybody not relying on the government to do everything. Because the private sector feeds the government. The private sector pays the government taxes. The private sector ensures that the government runs. But if you don't have taxes coming for the private sector, you will always be struggling with this 800 and 700 million budget. At the end of the day, nothing will work. So it's a good show. Thanks to everybody. Let's keep speaking like the CEO said. We should keep talking. We can't stop talking once we have our breath. Let's keep talking. Let's keep urging the government to do better for the sake of Liberia. At the end of the day, we should leave that behind. Let Liberia become a better place for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Nelson, want to turn the show over to you to close it up, okay? Thank you. Thank you, guys. Good night.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you. Good night.
Yeah. Well, folks, we want to say thanks to all of you tonight for being here. Thanks for participating on this edition of the program Spoon Talk. Thanks to all of you who called in. Thanks to the many of you who share your thoughts in the comment section. We appreciate the radio stations, the many radio stations across the country that are always relaying the program. Thanks to Trust FM in Bowman County, Premier FM in Bonk, Trend Radio in Grand Crew, Radio Yellowman in Seclipia, Nimba County, and all of the other radio stations for always relaying the program. We look forward to being here tomorrow. Another edition of Spoon Talk comes your way. Until then, my name is Nelson Collet. Have a good night, and I want to say thanks to all of you. Samuel Brown, that's Brown, Samuel Z. Brown. Thank you for being on tonight. J. Howard Freeman Riches, thanks as well for being on tonight. See Boy Kai Kamara, thank you for being on. Philip Bala, Mr. Bala, we appreciate you as well for being on. Roof Goba, my Roof, thanks for being on tonight. We appreciate you. I see Francis Tamba. Francis, thanks for being on tonight. We appreciate you as well. Lincoln Morris is here tonight. Thank you. Sir Johnson, we appreciate you. Thanks to Isaac Younger. Thank you for being on tonight. We appreciate all of you, your participation, your contribution. Thanks for taking up your time to watch Spoon TV. If you're following us on Facebook, you can also
be a part of the community on YouTube by subscribing to our YouTube handle, Spoon Talk Live. That's where you can find us on YouTube. Spoon Talk Live is our YouTube handle. We're on Facebook and Spoon TV on Facebook, Fabric TV on Facebook, and Super TV. That's where you can follow us as well. So till we come your way, have a good night, and let's hope we can be here tomorrow with another great show, another great edition of the program.
Yes, sir. A special one from the CEO, stand coming with the spoon. And your boy, right in the South.